in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Don't so.
What?
Don't so.
What?
Don't so.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. This is the weekly Just Nick in It show. Got a lot to talk about. The draft was last night. The Knicks did not have any draft picks. They did not trade into the draft. They didn't buy back into the draft, which is understandable given how many young players we have on our roster. There were no trades last night for the Knicks anyway. So we'll talk about that, see how you're feeling, your temperature on that. If there's some disappointment, there's still time, obviously, for the Knicks to make moves. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Lavine and his camp, you know, not really feeling the Knicks. Would prefer not to deal with the Knicks because they tend to prioritize CAA clients. Not so. I mean, I'm not sure prioritizing CAA clients is one thing, but if they come in after you and you're a clutch client, that means that they want you on the team. So I don't know. We'll talk about that as well. We'll also talk about, we'll finish our versus series. If you was with us last week, we did RJ versus Paul George, OG Anunoby, a few others. This week, we're going to do Mitch versus Turner, Towns, and DeAndre Ayton. So we'll talk about that as well. Special shout out to those who came to the draft party at Legend. Shout out to Simeon Russell of the Nothing But Knicks channel. He always gives good events. Really cool dude as well. Special shout out to, I met the lady and the chef last night. I met her mother, Diva Locks, there in the chat. And she said sometimes when they're not in the chat, they're always listening. They're part of the replay gang. They even download the audio and listen to my audio podcast. So shout out to Diva Locks and the lady and the chef who told me they would be listening tonight. Appreciate you. Can't wait to have both of you on. That should be great. So let me just bring in the panel. Jarrell, the captain, as Jay Boogie has named Jeff Clapton. And listen, the lady and the chef last night, Jeff, this is the second person within 2 weeks. Don't think you're going to be taking over the panel. I'm just letting you know. But
I don't want that job. I don't want that job.
Nice. She said,
I can smell them for a little while, but after a while, I'll get on their nerves and I'll be like, get that guy out of here.
Well, the lady and the chef said Jeff was a good addition to the show.
Well, it's an
That's
honor
what
to
she
be
told
here.
me last night at Legends, and she's the second person who's told me that within the last 2 weeks or so. So just try to keep your head together. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Man, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, became a regular on the show. Man, appreciate it. Ajay, resident panelist, Jarrell, staffer. I'm not sure. He fixing his antenna so he can come back and be ready for the show. How's everybody? Shout out to the chat, by the way, too.
Yeah, man. Salute to the chat. I missed the last show. I missed Legends last night. I missed them wings. I'm mad. I had a bad week, man. But now, you know, it's Friday night with my guys, with Steph, man. It's about to be a good show. Salute to the chat.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Queen. Shout out to all my brothers up here. Shout out to the amazing chat. As Queen always say, you know, there is no show without the panel. No, us on the panel, we say there is no panel without the chat. So shout out to everybody rocking with us on this beautiful Friday. It is. I ain't going to say happy Friday because every day is a happy day.
Right. Salute, salute, team, chat, Knicks Nation. let's get this thing going, man. We got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. Let's start, off with draft night. I just want to get your, just your feeling. Are you feeling like, it's okay? This is just the beginning of the off season. I'm not panicking. I'm good. Or are you feeling like, wow, I really wanted to start, reshaping this roster last night, and I'm disappointed that we weren't able to at least start that. What's the temperature? What you thinking? Ajay, let's start with Ajay.
What draft night?
I knew he was gonna do it.
Queen, listen. I know, Queen. Why'd you have to start with this? I thought we was gonna do Mitch versus.
We will.
Y'all want to save this? Y'all want to save this to the end?
So,
I mean, I figure it's more relevant. This is...
It is because it's fresh. It still hurts, I guess you should say. It's still fresh. So, listen, I wasn't expecting anything. And Queen, I think in the backgrounds, I think I mentioned to you guys, I don't think the Knicks ain't gonna do a damn thing. When we have draft picks, we don't draft. So we don't have draft picks. So I didn't think we were gonna do anything. People talk about they were gonna trade Obi for draft picks, and I know that was I didn't like that proposition anyway, because we went in length about that. About some people were happy that we'd get a 27th pick for Obi, but in any case, I'm happy they didn't.
Mhm.
I listen. We could go in length about this. A lot of people, I just don't get it. People are saying we're good. We don't, rookies ain't gonna get no time. Listen, are we that good? Like, we're that great a team that we don't feel we need new talent? Denver Nuggets, who won the chip, added people. All right, Miami, who went to the final. Like Boston, everybody's adding players, but we're like so great. We're in such a good place that we don't need to add potential talent. Give me a break, okay? It stopped. Okay, we've been doing this. Listen, I know that's what they were gonna do because Leon Rose, for some reason, he's listening to Tom Thibodeau, who said, "I'm not gonna play the rookies," and I just feel like we don't. The front office, like, there's no clear direction on what they want to do. At least I don't see it.
Right.
I'm sure there's a direction. I just don't understand it. It's not conventional. And when I say not conventional, it's not a good thing, because teams who've been winning championship, you could see what they trying to do. Okay, I'm unable. So unless they have like some crazy master plan that it's gonna be a first time a team with no clear direction comes out of the pack and win the championship, I don't see what the Knicks is doing. I don't understand what they're doing. I hope they understand what they're doing, but I just don't see it. I have to say they know what they're doing, because there's a lot of basketball minds in that front office.
Right.
It's just you don't know what everybody's doing. Or listen, technically they should. And let's another thing real quick.
Yeah, take it.
Let's not pass judgment too quick, because free agency ain't even start yet, right? So there is a lot that can happen. I remember last off season, when we, the Donovan Mitchell thing was going on, it went until late summer until we realized we weren't going to get him. Okay, so there's a lot of time for something to happen. But right now, nothing happened. And Queen, I that little picture that's been going around, Leon Rose sleeping, and I think that's exactly what's happening right now. But like I said, every team is always adding potential talent. There's kids out there. There are kids out there that can play, and you have to develop them. So you have to, supposedly we have a very good scouting team. Listen, maybe they're geniuses. Maybe they scout people like Obi Toppin's little brother. What's his first name again? Jacob.
Yeah.
Oh, Jacob. So maybe Jacob Toppin is gonna be the next big thing, and all the other 29 scouting teams don't see that. I don't know if there's a master plan. I just have to wait for it. I guess time will tell.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So your disappointment is not that trades weren't made. You just feel that the Knicks should continue to add talent. Like, regardless whether you making a trade or not, the Knicks should continue to be adding talent on draft night.
One way or another. It doesn't have to be on draft night. Listen, we're not the most talented team in the NBA. We know that.
Right.
Okay, so you can't be complacent and tell me, oh, we're good. We're good. Let's keep developing. Listen, you're not going to wake up next season and RJ Barrett's going to be like this sniper. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to move pieces. You have to add talent. And you have to be careful about it, because we tried that a couple of years ago. It didn't work. So you have to put more studies and you have to do more homework. You have to find out where you're lacking and then try to get the right pieces to put together. I think we have a good core, but we don't have it. Listen, we don't have enough talent right now to win a championship. I think we could all agree on that.
Right.
So but if you're not adding talent, you're still not going to have enough to win a championship. Is that where we want to be? We don't want to be there because, obviously we have a good piece. We have a couple of good pieces. Jalen Brunson, he's hitting his prime right now. And whether people like him or not, Julius Randle is in his prime. Okay, we have two good pieces on this team. We have to build around them. Let's not waste their prime by not doing anything.
And then I'll move it around. In terms of adding talent, though, keep in mind they traded that draft pick to get Josh Hart, which is talent. So you're saying young talent or future talent?
So Josh Hart, they didn't trade that draft pick, right? That on the surface, that's what it was. But if you look into the DNA of that trade, I think Josh Hart cost us maybe 3 first-round picks. Okay,
That
and
was that 23rd pick was one of them, though.
That 23rd pick was one of them. Kevin Knox was one of them, and I think we traded Kevin Knox plus a pick to get him. To get
that pick's not going to convey as a first rounder, though. That's a Charlotte pick.
So Kevin Knox in the first round, that would have turned into a second round. Then to get Cam Reddish, then we sent Cam Reddish over with our own first round pick to get him. So listen, I don't have a problem with Josh Hart. He is talented, and he's talent that obviously we didn't have because he made a difference that nobody else was making on the team. So that's definitely a good addition to the team. But listen, do we have enough right now to win a championship? The answer is no. Like, don't even think about it. The answer is no.
But there's nobody in that draft that would have helped us win a championship. But I hear what you're saying. I agree in terms of restocking the back end of your,
right. I mean, that's what teams, and we don't know that Queen, we don't know there's nobody in that draft that could have helped us win a championship. Even if we had a guy that was going to give us 5 minutes and pull down 3 rebounds, could have been 3 crucial rebounds. You don't know.
Like Brown.
Okay. Like Brown, right?
Like Brown.
You don't. You never know. But you gotta go that route. You can't just stay put, because staying put didn't work. The team we have didn't work. So again, it's still very early. The trading season didn't even start yet. I mean, they could have made trades during the draft, but really the real deal, it ain't start yet. So hopefully they have a plan, and hopefully, like I said, there's a lot of great basketball minds in that front office.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're gonna stay put, but right now there's like a little period in between now and July. Was it July 1st,
Mm-hmm.
where it's kind of suspect.
Okay. And anybody else in terms of just your thoughts on draft night?
I think the direction. I think the direction is kind of clear. Like, we want to get older and not younger. Like, we were the youngest team in the playoffs this year. I think the only team that was close was Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have the same team next year, we will still kind of be the youngest compared to all the playoff teams that was in the playoffs this year. So yeah, the direction is to get older, not younger. Like the Play the Kids campaign, that was 2 years ago. We haven't added a rookie on that roster since, except for like Trevor Keels, and he should not be playing. So I think the direction is clear. I didn't expect us to draft anybody because we don't have any roster spots to draft anybody. Yeah, I think we're going to make a move in free agency. Somebody's going to go. It's going to be trade, maybe 2 trades, and then we will get other players on this roster. The two guys that we got in the 2 ways last night, Obi Toppin's little brother, and I forgot the other kid's name, Martin. Yeah,
Jalen
Martin. Yeah, Jalen Martin. Sorry. Yeah, they actually might be added to the roster because other cats might be traded. So, yeah, I think the direction is clear. We just might not like the direction. Like I could see us adding talent last night, but from the Knicks' eyes, I could see why it wasn't necessary. That's not the direction that we're going in.
And I also think, to your point, Jarrell, we have cap. Like, if the Knicks really wanted to do it, despite not having the 17th or the 23rd pick, whatever it was, if they wanted to, they could have bought into the second round. If they wanted to,
Right.
they could have, got back into, into that draft. But I gotta say, Ajay, this is what I've been thinking for the past 3 years. Last year, when I saw Dallas get that guy, the kid from was it a G League player? I forgot his name. Hardy.
Yeah.
Then Miami got the Jovic. I was like, come on, I mean, like, hey,
especially him
adding talent to the back end of their, roster. I was like, maybe we should still be trying to do the same, but they don't have a lot of the young guys that we have. We got Sims on the back end of our roster. We got McBride on the back end, of our roster. So we do got some young guys. So maybe that's it. But when I saw them doing that, I was like, man.
Yeah, that Jovic pick pissed me off last year. That was one of my dudes, man. I
was like, Miami, And listen, these guys, they're not playing, but they're in their system. They're learning their system. And if there's, if trades happen or what have you, they got somebody already in their system that they can move up. So I get both points, Jarrell and Ajay. Anybody else?
I think one thing that we haven't talked about is that if you have a first round pick and you use it, that's guaranteed salary for 4 years that you have to add to your books. And, if you're trying to do all of this cap maneuvering and stay away from the apron, which we've talked more about aprons than anybody I've ever met. It's like a
food channel.
We talk more than Lady and the Chef.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. So
salute Lady
I
and
think,
the Chef.
I think that does play a part in it. That with the second round picks, you have less team control because they don't get that 4th year, And so again, we have, as you said already, Steph, we have a 9-man rotation, a tight 9-man rotation with two guys in Sims and McBride who probably deserve rotation minutes. And now you're going to add another 18 to 22-year-old kid. But look on the bright side, Ajay. Instead of having one Toppin to sit the bench, now we have 2.
Extra Toppin. No, I hear you.
How long you been waiting?
I hear you, but here's the thing. The kids, when you draft those late first rounders, second round, you don't draft them to play them. You draft them to develop them. That's why you send them to the G League to get minutes and so on and so forth, right? So that nobody said you're gonna draft them so they could crack the rotation. Listen, if you get a good piece, that's good enough. Who's good enough to crack the rotation? Like, let's throw him in. Like when we got Quickly, he was good enough to play. They put him in. You never know. We might have found another Quickly, but I'm just saying we're not so good that we don't need to look for new talent. That's all I'm saying. We're not such a great team. Right. Listen, the team who won it all, they added pieces. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
A lot of pieces too.
Yes.
But part of it is that they know with 3 max contracts, they're not going to be, because of the second apron. I know we talked about the apron or that. They're not going to be able to add
Yep.
players. So that's probably, why they did it. But, to your point, AJ, it doesn't have to even be on the 12 or 15 man roster. It could be the two-way contracts. I mean, I know they signed Keels, but I'm just saying we've converted. You can take that away, right? And give that to somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean,
and there's 3 of them this year instead of just 2, by the way.
Right.
You get 3 of those two-way contracts.
Not the two ways. The G League contract you can take away. Can you take the 2 ways?
The 2 ways aren't those the G League contracts? No,
they 2-way. They're 2 ways. They G Leaguers that could come here. But the straight G League contracts you could take away. In fact, the G Leaguers, other teams could come in behind you and say,
right.
Yeah, but we have to choose between Keels and Washington, right?
Well, we have 3.
We got
3
4
2 ways. Well, we have 4?
Yeah, we have 4 2 ways now, but we only allowed 3.
Gotcha.
Because Keels and Washington were our 2 ways, and we just got 2 more.
Right.
So they got to choose between Washington and Keels.
Right. We got you both, Ishmael. He just want to make sure that's my saying, extra topic. Okay, he want his rights. We got you. Anybody else want to say anything about, draft night or Nope.
I think
okay.
I just want to say congratulations to all them guys, that work hard to put themselves in the position to be drafted. You know what I'm saying? Fighting through the times when you don't think you're gonna make it, and fighting through the times when people say you ain't as good. You heard all types of stories, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to send a shout out, especially to them guys, you know what I'm saying, that made it to the league. Congratulations to the San Antonio Spurs. Be honest with you, if that guy wasn't falling to us, he couldn't have fell to a better situation, falling with, up on the pop. I know they're going to do wonders with him, you know what I'm saying? And I know they're going to be back on the rising because that's what Pop does. He does draft. He builds his team through the draft. You don't be seeing him sign big free agents to come over and all this and that. So, that was the mega piece yesterday behind the guy. I can't think of his name, but he was there to greet him last night with the color hair that come from out of Baylor. Those are 2 nice pieces that they got. They're going to I wasn't too much worried about last night. I knew he wasn't gonna pretty much do nothing at all. You pretty much, if you wanted to make any movement or anything last night, you needed to at least have a first round pick, and we didn't have that. You've seen a lot of first round picks. You've seen a lot of switching, shuffling, people going back and forth, but you had to have something that allowed you to be in the door, and we was not in the door only by picks. You know what I'm saying? But we was in the door early on in the season. You mentioned it earlier how we traded and we brought Josh Hart over here. That was a pick, you know what I'm saying, that we gave away and brought that guy over here, and he came through and he did wonders for us. The other pick that we lost out on it, I still tip my hat off to Leon Rose because he realized that we was going to be better than Dallas. So he traded our pick and kept Dallas' pick, which should have been the better pick between Dallas and the Knicks. Unfortunately, what they did towards the end, they allowed themselves, you know what I'm saying, to lose their games purposely so they could go ahead and get their pick. And then they traded as soon as it came about, So, but last night, I was straight with what we had going on. Even though I was standing on the top of my TV begging, you know what I'm saying, please. Last night, one of them guys would have got traded to I'd at least called the 16th, Utah. I'd at least called them and asked them for that pick. Because when Cam fell all the way down to 16 to Utah, I'm like, yo, I'm looking for anywhere can we call for this guy. This guy is just falling and falling. And I understand they say he had a bad workout, and in some of his interviews it looked like he didn't really have no interest or whatever there, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's not going to have a great a great interview and a great one-on-one drills. That's the same thing that happened to Miller, but it was great that they brought him back again, and when they brought him back again, he showed them what it is. Sometimes these guys need a little second look. When that dude fell all the way to 20-something, I was like, wow, this is crazy. And we didn't even make a room because that guy right there, they had him labeled as the 5th best, and he's NBA ready. He's getting ready to be a problem, with some years to come. But I was good with what's happening last night. Now it's time to money time. What's getting ready to happen? I need to start seeing action. Enjoy your weekend, get over your weekend. But on Monday, I need them to be on the phones and work.
I will say about Wembanyama fall into San Antonio. I'm not much for conspiracy theories, but my goodness, I mean, right before the season, they trade Murray so that they can be lottery eligible, because you figure they won't be a great team without him.
Yeah, it's rigged. You can say it, Steph.
It's like,
It's rigged. You can say it.
all of the teams he could go to, he went to. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, and then it is rigged. So the one season that the Knicks we won 17 games, right? Right. I don't know if that season or the season before that, they changed the lottery system. So now three teams have the same odds of getting the number one.
Yeah.
And guess what? As luck would have it, we got number 3. Like,
right.
It's just insane. Hey, listen, just whatever.
The interesting thing, Queen, about the Spurs is that since the lottery came into being, they've been in the lottery only 8 times, and they've won 3 of those. They got David Robinson.
Franchise play. I mean, because sometimes the number 1 pick in that particular draft is just it's just the number
Anthony
1
Bennett.
All 3 times they were franchise players.
All 3 times.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the New York Knicks, we've had that number 1 the first time.
That was it.
That was 38 years ago.
We still paying.
38 years ago.
I know. I'm from Brooklyn.
Queen. We still paying.
I'm from Brooklyn, and I know a hustle when I see one. That draft has been rigged.
Thank you, Jarrell.
That's why I constantly say I want to see that hand go back into that popcorn machine. When we used to see it.
Right.
Put your hand and pull out. You knew what it was.
Right.
All this, going to a station identical break. When we come back, the cards are being placed. You'll know what it is. Only but one person know who it is behind closed doors. Man, it's time for them to start letting the people see what it really, really is, because that's how they used to do it back in the day. But like you said, San Antonio been in there all these times, and every time they've been in there, they hit, And for us to be in that situation, we get unhit. But it is what it is. You got to help some franchises. They help San Antonio out. Popovich, they care love about him. The same situation with New Orleans. That time when they switched Davis and he went over there. Of course, they gave him the number 1 pick. And may he rest in peace, the little young fella over there in Cleveland that passed away earlier. It was earlier this year or towards last year. The little kid with the glasses that was the lucky charm, getting the number 1 pick and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, they know where they want to put in place where whoever they want, and they know where they don't want to go because they don't need that. They're able to, hold on with what they're doing. And we're one of the franchises that, even though we're still in the building, we're sold out, but that has nothing to do with being right and being fair. We're in the building and sold out because we're diehard Knicks fans, and we love the game outside of being Knicks fans. That's why we're in the building, and you need to start respecting us for that too.
Yeah, I was like, they got him coming over this generational talent. We can't just put him in any franchise. We can't just drop him in, I don't know.
In New York. You can say it.
A dysfunctional, we got to make sure he goes somewhere.
He wasn't going to Orlando.
Take care of him, and it's a stable franchise. Come on. I mean, I don't like getting into these because I'm like, San Antonio? Oh, my gosh.
I can see them now picking and choosing back there behind the door. Mm-hmm. Mike, you are right. But we're going to San Antonio, Portland, San Antonio, which I can see them behind that closed door figuring out which one they want to do. And they pick
y'all about to sell a team. I don't know. Yep. I don't know if we should send them over in that situation.
Yeah. But
well, they changed the name of the town, by the way. It's Wemban Antonio now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Dame, you ain't got enough years in like Popovich. We're gonna give it to Greg, Dame.
Right.
They can trade you.
I tell you what they do. They keep picking the teams, right? For number 1. When they pick Orlando. No, that was a practice draw. They picked it. Nah, that was a practice joint. Until they get to the one they want, they're like, oh, now, yeah, that was the real one.
Yeah.
We know what's up.
I usually don't, but I'm like, this was just too perfect. Too perfect. Anyway, shout out to Boulevard 73. I appreciate you rocking with us. Hail to the Queen. Salute Ajay, Jarrell, J Boogie. What's that? Old? Can we run it back?
We can.
Well, yeah, we
So
can.
far, we are.
If last night was any indication,
Right. We are running it back right
We
now.
are running back, and we gonna end up the same place, or maybe not even the same place.
Right. Oh man, you know what? I want to give a shout out to Paris Duggar. You know, Paris Duggar be getting under my claw. But
Yeah, I heard he was out there.
I got an opportunity to meet him last night. Nice guy. We was able to
Oh man.
Yeah, we was able to chomp it up, and he just, brought home something I say all the time. You see a person, you have, small interactions with a person. That's not all of who, that's not all of who they are. Because he know them super chats, them comments, he be getting up underneath my skin. And then I met him, and he was just a great guy with just really, really good energy, just pouring out of his pores, just a really good guy. So Paris Duggar, shout out to you. I'm gonna still give you the business though, but it was.
And he's still gonna give you $2,
and he's still gonna give me $2, right?
Queen, we had no doubt that you was gonna keep giving him the business. No.
All right, let's talk about the front office real quick. Ajay sent me the sleeping meme 2 days yesterday or 2 days ago. Are the Knicks front office, in your opinion, patient, maybe even a little conservative, or sleeping?
Ain't that the kind of same thing? They're a little bit of both. I can say they're a little bit of both right now. Half sleeping, half conservative. You can tell by the Donovan Mitchell trade that they either hit the snooze button or didn't care. Like you, there are many examples that this organization has been, a little bit. I don't know. I won't call them soft, but I don't know. Like even with the draft, like every draft that we did draft somebody, we traded down to get them. So I don't know. I think they are conservative for sure.
Okay.
I think we need to be careful that we don't confuse inaction with inactivity.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we didn't do anything doesn't mean we weren't active. It just means that the right move wasn't there. And I patience is a virtue that I'm not blessed with. So I want the whole, roster planned out and the moves made and let's go, let's get excited about what we got. But that's not the MO of this front office. I mean, I'm glad I'm not a betting man because I would have lost my house on Obi Toppin still being on this team today. I can promise you that. I was shocked that Toppin didn't get moved. And you know what? Especially because he heard all that noise. Well, they had that disagreement and all that. And here it's almost like we doubled down and said, not only are we not trading Obi, we're going to bring in his brother Jacob. I mean, to me, that's like an olive branch that's trying to get him to stay as much as it is. I mean, because does anybody feel like Jacob Toppin's going to produce anything meaningful with this roster next year? I don't think so. But you're bringing in, I mean, to me, the Knicks are about family, right? This front office family, for whatever reason, is important to them. And, it looks like the family has rubbed people the wrong way for, with Clutch Sports clients, especially. I mean, that's one of the reasons probably DeJounte Murray to the Knicks was never a thing because he's a Clutch client, know? And but I mean, and that's a different issue that we could talk about later. But what I was going to say is that this Knicks team, they understand that this isn't going to be an overnight thing, and to me, it also signals that maybe it's RJ Barrett who's on the block, because remember, Barrett can't be moved until July 1st because of the poison pill provision in his contract. And so if they have something in place that involves Barrett, they probably are not going to announce it until next week anyway. So I think that signifies that, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the plan is something smaller or something simpler, but I have to believe that one of Obi, Barrett, and Quickly, or Obi, Barrett, or Quickly are the three I would say. One of those is going to be out of here for another piece, because there's just too much duplication on this roster as it is. We just traded for Josh Hart. I don't think he's going out the door. I think he's going to be back, and if that's the case, we need more depth on the wing, and we really could use a, you know, I mean. And if you want to let Obi go, you got to get in a power forward who can play those backup minutes and be happy with that role.
And Jeff, that's why in the beginning when I said, you know, it's still early. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
Right.
I mean, trading didn't even start yet. It's just that there's that period in between the draft and when you could start the trades. You still have that feeling, that gut feeling in the back of your head, like, what are they doing? And I think, you know, the fact that the front office don't share their plans or they don't give out interviews, it's strategic because they don't want people to know what they're doing. Because if they don't do what they want to do or they plan on doing, you could say, well, they failed. But if you don't know what the hell they're doing, you can't say they failed because you don't know what their plans are.
Right.
You know?
And we're not just talking about the front office this season. We're talking, this draft night. We're just talking about the front office, you know, overall.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the Leon Rose regime, that's how they function. Like I said, I think it's strategic that they don't say what they're doing. You know, you don't know what they're doing. It's like, you know, if I'm going somewhere, you don't know which way I'm gonna go, so you can't say, oh, he lost. Look, he don't know where he's going. You can't tell because you don't know where I'm going. So,
you know, when I get the word, like when I hear words and comments about other people talking about we don't want certain people to be along or amongst the Knicks organization because of whatever reason is, that only lets me know and believe that the league is scared for the Knicks to really get better than what we were last year. But it's no need to be scared. You just got to know and understand that outside of the Sacramento Kings, the New York Knicks was the best story on TV. You know what I'm saying? And this is how we move the league. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I understand some of these people, they're scared for us to get ahead and do what we got to do. But Leon need to make sure he knows that. But I don't want Leon to be whatever he putting together, whatever he planning, you know what I'm saying? Don't just sit there with one plan, one thought. I need you to have multiple situations on deck. So if something doesn't go our way, you don't get into panic mode and do two things, either not do something or do something out of spite just to do something that'll hurt us. You know what I'm saying? Take time out, think about what the situation is. You know, July 1st, you know, you heard the captain talk about that. We didn't do nothing last night, you know. We in position, we sitting right lovely, you know what I'm saying, to do some things, to be right in position. But that word run it back, you know what I'm saying? I'm okay if we run it back only for one reason. That's if nobody else does nothing. If nobody in the East does anything, I'm okay because I think some of the teams have gotten weaker. You know what I'm saying? I still think Philly ain't going to get no better with the James situation. I know Milwaukee is not going to get no better because Middleton don't opt out of that 40. So for him, he's telling, I got to get my money. So either you going to pay me and bring me back, and that he gets paid and he comes back, that means Lopez is not going to be there and probably Ingleton is not going to be there. So some teams, you know what I'm saying, are losing out. If nobody else does anything in the East, I'm okay sitting and rocking where we at. But you know what I'm saying? Still, I want to be ready to strike. You know what I mean? And opportunity presents itself. But don't be scared to push the button, Leon, because you can't do but one thing: either make the right move or make a bad move. But we got enough situations going on that we can reset if we do make a little small goofball, error. But I just want Leon, man, just be ready and prepared because it's there for us to take it. That's how I feel. It's there for us to take and move up in this Eastern Conference, especially with nobody else doing nothing. And I ain't scared of that move what Boston did. They don't lost their heart and soul. He gone somewhere else. You can snuff one of them guys and ain't nobody going to do nothing because Little Fight, man, he went to Memphis. So, I'm all right with where we at, but just don't be scared to push the button when your time is right. Patience, you had that last night. It's time to handle business. Get on that red phone, that bat phone, making calls. And something going to give and handle your business, Leon. Handle it.
I mean, listen, nothing is guaranteed. Even when you sign a supposed star, there's nothing that says it's going to work, right? Think about when Boston signed. I mean, it's all Kyrie examples, though. But when Boston signed Kyrie, when Brooklyn signed Kyrie,
when Dallas signed Kyrie.
So it's the Kyrie effect. That's what you're saying.
I mean, I'm just saying it. It may or may not work out, but you got to take some risks. I look at Miami now. Maybe they swing too hard when they sign, Lowry to the $80 million, contract or whatever. But they take risks because they believe in their front office. They believe in their guys that they're going to be able to find the players that they need on the back end, no matter what. And I don't think the Knicks, like you said, should just be signing guys to sign them and trading guys to trade guys. But I just think maybe it's just too much overthinking. I don't know. I'm not in the building, but it just seems to me like, and you don't hear, like it leaked out just a little bit that they called the Clippers about Paul George. That's it. Other than that, you don't hear anything about what the Knicks really want to do.
Right.
So we shall see. I want to talk a little bit about this Lavine and his camp rumor. So there's reports that some reports say it's Lavine's camp, and I've read other reports that it was Lavine himself that doesn't want to prefer not to be traded to the Knicks or to deal with the Knicks because, they seem to prioritize CAA clients. I don't know what do they mean by priorities? I mean, fine, you prioritize a CAA client. That doesn't necessarily mean that you won't sign somebody who's not a CAA client. And it doesn't mean that if you sign a non-CAA client that you're going to treat them wrong and not take care of them. So I don't quite get that. Apparently there's some beef between CAA and Clutch. But the question I have, is Leon Rose our front office CAA affiliation? Oh, typo. Let me get that together. Do you think it's hurting us? Because this is the first time. Like before, I just felt like sometimes it helps us, like with Brunson, and sometimes you think it would help us, but it really didn't. But this is the first time it's coming up. Is it hurting us? Any thoughts on that?
I don't know. Well, I'll go first. Yeah, I'm thinking it does hurt you if you're trying to get somebody in free agency. Yeah, because CAA and Clutch obviously have a rivalry. Like it's been going on for a few years now. So, yeah, it potential to hurt. I mean, Zach Lavine. See, when you say it don't hurt, I don't want Zach Lavine personally. Mm-hmm. So for me, it don't hurt. But if it was actually somebody that I actually wanted on the team, then hell yeah, it hurts. Like we can't get anybody that's on their roster. So, and everybody it seemed like on our roster is signed with CAA for the most part, if I'm correct. So, yeah, it'll hurt, especially in the long run. It just depends on how they do business, I guess. Like if I was them, I would try to squash whatever is going on between them because it's not good business for either roster, CAA or Clutch, because they're gonna have players on other teams that's on both rosters if it's not ours. Leon Rose was just the head of CAA. So for us, it is mostly going to be that. But for other teams, they got players on both CAA and Clutch. So they can marry each other on a team, but it just won't be for the Knicks because Leon Rose is the head.
Right. I mean, Sims is Clutch, right? But he's not. He's
Is
not
that
clutch in
no?
the game. But,
I'm about to say, he ain't that clutch, no.
but I think he's a clutch club. But he's on a small contract. They
Right.
probably just have the intern negotiate in that contract.
Exactly.
That's how we're gonna know if there's real beef. Because if they're real beef, they're gonna cut Sims. They'd be like, man, you gone. So we're gonna find out.
Right.
I could. Jeff, you want to go?
That's okay. Go ahead.
So first of all, I don't think that came from Zach Lavine. If that came from Zach Lavine, that would be just sheer stupidity from Zach.
Right.
In fact, if there is such a thing, if I'm Zach Lavine, I'm firing Clutch. Because if you're my agent, I need you to look out for my best interest, not yours.
Right. So
if you're gonna tell me New York would be like a good spot for me where I could make, millions of dollars and play on put me in a better situation, right? And that could possibly open a door for me to get another contract after this one expires. If you prevent me from doing this, then I'm getting rid of you, because that your job is not, is not to look out for your agency, but to look out for me. So it's almost like you have a lawyer. If the lawyer is looking out for their pocket, not for yours, you got to get rid of that lawyer. So I mean, it would be stupid for Zach Lavine to say something like that. I mean, what business is it of yours that the Knicks take care? I mean, it don't matter. If you on the payroll, if you play for the Knicks, you're going to get paid. They expect you to come, they expect you to perform, and you expect to be paid. So don't matter what agency you work for. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So maybe his people are saying that because they're afraid he might not be able to handle the New York market, whatever it is, or maybe he might not be able. They don't want him to play with Thibodeau. I don't know, but I don't think that's the real story. There's something else behind that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Because it's because they prioritize. It's not even like they treat, if you're non-CAA, they treat you bad. It's not a good experience for you in that organization. If you're not that, I'm like, wow, that would be a serious allegation. But how you going to get upset because an organization prioritizes a certain agency? Okay, but right now they looking at you,
Queen. I mean, think about it, right? So if they had a problem with you, but they want to come bring you over here so they could pay you $30 million,
right?
That doesn't make any sense. I don't think Zach Lavine, or I don't know where that came from. Some we're gonna find out. One of those reporters made that thing up. It just doesn't make sense.
I think I know where it came from.
Oh,
I think about these things. This is tell me if I'm way off base on this, and this is crazy talk, but this is just what I was thinking. So who stands to benefit from those comments? And the comments that I read and saw were that they wanted if Lavine was going to be dealt, they wanted a big trade package in exchange for him. Well, why would an agent care?
Right.
Why would an agent care what he got traded for? And that part didn't make any sense to me. But what if this is the Chicago Bulls front office leaking this information out so that they can raise the price for Lavine, set a trade market for Lavine, maybe get him so saying, hey, we're going to get a big haul from the Knicks, even though the Knicks haven't said they're giving a big haul. They're saying, we don't want to deal with them, but we were going to get a big haul from them, but we don't want to deal with them, but we're expecting you to pay more. To me, otherwise it doesn't make any sense because, look, Lavine's contract is already negotiated, as Bo Ishmael said in the chat. He already getting paid his money. He's guaranteed for the next 3 or 4 seasons. His agent don't matter He gonna get paid that money whether he's represented by you, me, club, CAA, or whoever. That doesn't affect anything. And so when stuff like this gets out there in the media, I don't give it a lot of attention, but I ask myself, why is that story put out there? And the only thing that I can come up with is that it's Chicago trying to drive up the price and the return for Lavine, and not necessarily to a team other than New York.
Right. It's like I don't like you, but I want to give you $40 million next year because I don't like you. I mean, shit, hate me if that's the case, man. Give me $40 million.
It also could
don't
just
like
be,
me and give me $40 million. I can look at that.
Come on.
It also could be Lavine really just don't want to play for Tibbs again.
Could be.
Like, it's all about relationships when it comes to this. This is obviously not business. It's relationships between CAA and Clutch and Lavine and Tibbs.
Right.
So that should show you right there that this is, I think it's real. Like, he's not coming here.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. This yeah. I just hope it doesn't be it's probably an issue already. Like, I felt like with the DeJounte Murray, I don't know how much of it is, we were already locked in on Brunson, and it's not good business to just say, all right, we're not going to go after Brunson anymore. We're going to go after DeJounte Murray. Was it that? Or was it, Brunson is family? We already, behind back doors already said that, we really want to sign him. How can we pivot now? I just feel like there's been some players that's become available for other teams. And I just like, well, where was the Knicks? Did you make a call? Like, did you inquire? Like what are you, what are you doing? Because I never hear the Knicks. No, I shouldn't say never, but when things are happening, it's like, KP, I'm not saying we wanted KP, but did you at least call Washington to see if there was anything? They about to blow it up. Was there anything like a fire sale? Sometimes let me just go in there and see if there's anything, I might like. I don't know. I just feel like, it's hard to say because they don't talk about it, so they could be active and, they don't talk about it. So we don't know. But because they don't talk about it from the outside, it just looks like opportunity is just passing them by. That's how it looks to me from the outside.
And it does, Queen. And that's why I tell you, they don't tell people their plans because that way we can't judge because we don't know what they're planning on. Mm-hmm. And what you said is very important. And same thing last trading deadline. Remember, Halliburton was on the market. We had no idea.
Was the other one.
We had no clue.
See, but with the Halliburton thing, real quick, that's a relationship thing too, because I think he signed with CAA. So okay. I understand we might not think that they knew, but they probably knew because he was CAA also. Then
that could be a real problem. I mean, KP, the Wizards were literally begging, say, listen, I take this guy off our hands. Because it didn't work out with the first trade they try to make. The minute you hit it didn't work out, everybody should be calling. Like, we should be calling. But no, we let it happen. I don't know. It could be a problem if that's the case, and I don't think that it is. But if that's the case, then it could be a problem.
I think in the case of KP, he wanted to go to Boston, though. I think that was his preferred destination. I think he talked to the Wizards and was like, I want to go to Boston. And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. Think about it. Is there a more perfect situation for a player of KP's skill set than the Boston Celtics right now? I mean, you're talking about a guy who's entering his prime and he's, he screams Boston. I mean, he just does with what they do. And so you're talking about a chance to go from a Washington team that's terrible to a team that is in contention for a championship every year. And you get to be, you get to do what you do best. I think that was just, in that case, I don't think it was anything that the Knicks could have done. I think it was that KP wanted Boston, and Washington, I don't think really wanted what the Knicks had, just based on the strange array of moves that they've made, which I don't really understand. But that's
I mean, the Knicks have better players. Maybe they didn't want the contracts,
right.
or that potentially they would have to sign them. You know, like the young players. Eventually, they're going to come up for contract extension. So, you know, maybe that was it. But
Queen, they could have took Fournier and Rose off our hands for KP. I mean, guys, they're not going to play. They might move Marcus Smart. I don't think Marcus Smart's going to stay there.
Smart's in Memphis.
Oh, that's right. He's in Memphis. That's right.
What did they get? What did Washington get out of the trade?
They got Gallinari, Muscala, Tyus Jones.
Oh yeah, Tyus Jones. That's true.
And pick 35.
Tyus Jones he just renewed last season, didn't he? He's just got a 3 or 4 year contract with Memphis.
Well, he'll be the starting point guard in Washington.
I think they got a guaranteed, place in the top 5 of the draft next year.
Right.
Yeah, that's
they go stuck.
That's my point. They got nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just believe that we didn't make a move for him, because one thing was sure. See, we don't need a third team to make moves. We can handle our own business. We got enough players, young youths, great contracts and draft picks. Boston needed help to pull that thing off. It needed to be 3 teams, So I just think that we didn't make a move for it, or swing for it. I don't know why. I was thinking, that'd be great chemistry if we could, maybe put somebody like, like if Mitch would have been in a sign and trade, couple of picks, and maybe another player, maybe we could have done that. And then you could have been right back in the same offense that you pretty much was running in Dallas, with a point guard that and a point guard that's here with you now. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much chemistry. They had that going on in Dallas. So, I mean, I just think we didn't push the button for it, and that's why I said I don't want Leon to be hesitant when you see a move that you know is there that's going to benefit us and make us better. You know what I'm saying? You can't be hesitant not to make the move, you know what I'm saying, when we got the ammunition and power to do it. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's different. I understand that. But, I think we could have got Porzingis, but that's never here nor there.
Right. Yeah, like I'm not sure what their board is looking like. It's like they have specific pieces that they're going after, and I guess they're just waiting. And, you got to trust your front office. You got to trust that if things don't work out, that you're going to be able to pivot and be okay. We see Miami do it multiple times. We've seen Brooklyn do it. Well, first New Jersey, after that Boston, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce trade, where you just felt like, oh, they ain't gonna never be relevant again after all of the draft picks they gave up. Well, they was able to sign, Durant and Kyrie. It didn't work out, but they repositioned themselves that they were able, to do it. And they reset their franchise again after giving up those, 2 guys. So you got to trust your front office. Obviously don't be reckless, but if something doesn't work out, that you'll be able to pivot and you'll still be okay.
All right. One other thing on the KP deal. One other thing. Sorry, Boogie. Go ahead.
Now, I was just going to say, because right now we all going to be at a standstill for a while for the top 3 situations. The top 3 situations, 2 of them are free agents. That's Draymond and that's Middleton. And then plus the world going to wait and see what Dame and Portland going to do. So I don't think no moves is getting ready to be made. So that situation is getting figured out amongst them 3. Where them 2 guys going to go, and what is Portland going to do with Dame?
Right.
You think Draymond is hot commodity?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I think Draymond works in Golden State, and how they play and how they play him with those guys being the facilitator. I wonder how well that works in another organization whose team is set up differently.
I'm good, man. I don't want him on the Knicks. Not at this
No,
point.
no, I'm not saying for him to come over here with us, but I'm saying until that get figured out, because there's places that he can go. He can fit over there in Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? It's places that he can go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You know, who knows? Maybe
no, you're right. You're right. Phoenix could be a good situation for him. Yeah,
because his last result, to my understanding, is Detroit. But Draymond, you know, he wants some money. He wants some money, and you know they don't give it to him. He's probably gonna go somewhere and get some money because he's not chasing rings.
Phoenix, I don't know what kind of money they said. Hey, you better, you may not be able to get a 20-ounce solo. You know?
Yeah, but they still got a year to almost 2 years to figure it out, their money situation. You know, but I don't think Draymond would take a pay cut because he's not chasing rings. So,
but yeah, it's going to be hard over there unless they give up 8. But I just don't see Draymond is best with the ball in his hand. He's a ball mover. He's a facilitator. He's basically he may not be a point forward in the traditional sense of bringing the ball up the court, but once they in that half court, he's the one that's moving the ball. Phoenix don't need that. You know, with Beal and Booker, either one of them can handle the ball. I don't know. To me, I feel like Draymond is perfect for Golden State, perfect for certain offenses. I don't think he's somebody you can just drop on any team and expect, because I don't know. Maybe I'm off, but I don't really see that from Draymond.
I mean, he fits. That's his match made in heaven. They got chemistry and everything over there together. You know, I'm just throwing out different scenarios. I mean, to me, I think he could fit over there because they don't have a facilitator over there. All they're gonna do is play your turn, my turn, his turn. That's all they're gonna play over there. You know what I'm saying? He can fit in Miami too. You know, certain things. When you have a high IQ in basketball, you can pretty much fit yourself in any and everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That needs to be fit. You know, so. And
that's true.
What if Bam goes to Portland in a Damian Lillard trade, and then Draymond goes to Miami to replace him as their 5?
Draymond is what?
Be too small.
Is he even 6'8"?
They'd be too small.
He's 6'6".
Yeah, I think they'd be too small.
6'6"? I thought he was taller than that.
No, I think he's not as tall as Randle, I don't think.
It just depends. I mean, something like that can't happen because you still got Lopez out there on the market. You know, but if they can't get their hands on somebody like Lopez, I just don't see them shipping Bam off like that. I just don't, because they ain't got no big.
Yeah. And at this point in their career, you can argue, Butler's the heart and soul of their team, though. But if you had to choose one, how many more years does Butler have? You know? Anyway, let me get to these super chats. Shout out to Quentin Gilliam. I hope I got that right. Appreciate you rocking with us. Thank you for the super chat. I will be highly upset if we trade for a broke down player like PG-13. Have we forgotten Stout? I guess that's Stoudemire, McDice. He has 1 year left, and then that second year is a player option. Yeah.
Okay, Queen, remember my text to you like that about PG, about Paul George? I said it would be a disaster if we actually go after that guy. Listen, Paul George is great. He's great. Not for New York. Let him be over there in LA. Let him chill in the sun.
Because of that. But to me, the only issue would
be the age, the injuries.
Right.
I mean, it's just.
I don't think the age is an issue because you're only going to have him for 2 years. You don't have to re-sign him. Depends on how much you're going to give up for those 2 years. That's the issue. Is this a salary dump like Beal? I would do it. If this is a salary dump for Beal for 2 seasons, I would do it. But if we got to give up, like a haul for 2 years, no, I'm not doing it. Molly Moore, appreciate
Barrett?
He's 33 years old, man.
Okay. And his contract ends at the same time Randle's in, at the same time Brunson ends. And so you can reset, if you needed to. Molly Mall, appreciate the super chat. KP opted in only for Boston. Yep. Well, I know he opted in. I don't know if it was only. I didn't know it was only for Boston. Dan,
Oh, I'm sorry. Good. You
Dan,
finished with the super chat?
I got one more. Danny Thomas, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for the super chat. Would you trade for Anthony Simons or Siakam? I don't know if I would trade for Anthony Simons unless they would take Quick. He's a ball. Yeah, maybe I would. I like Siakam.
What is his contract?
They just re-signed him.
You talking about Simon? You said Simon, Anthony Simon, right?
Yeah. They just re-signed him. I don't know exactly what his contract is, but I know he just signed his.
I think he got paid.
Yeah.
And he said Siakam, right?
Yeah. I heard Siakam only wants to play for. He only wants to re-sign with Toronto. He's scaring people off.
Yeah.
So if you trade for him for that one year,
that rental,
basically.
Yeah, I don't want to trade with Ujiri anyway. The Angel of the North.
Draymond should go to Sacramento. I mean, listen, I think the Knicks front office is smart. You could try to fleece us. Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Simons get 24 mil next year, then 25, then 27.
Yeah, no.
Got 3 more years.
Yeah, like the number one priority is who's Brunson's sidekick.
Right.
That's you're gonna pay big money. That's the guy you gotta find.
We waiting on Luka.
All right, let's get anything else before we get to Mitchell Robinson and our center position.
I just want to tell the captain, I'm with you. Send Bam out west. All that stuff is in here. Get out west.
Please.
Get out of here.
All right, so let's do our verses like we did last week. And basically, for me, I feel like Brunson and Randle, until he's moved, and he may never be moved, are the two guys that's basically the center of this team, the center of our offense. And which the three other players in the starting lineup, who can you put around them that's going to make them successful and make the team successful? So I see those guys as being able to get their own shot, but I also see both of them as being able to create for others. Randle has the gravity. He draws a lot of double teams. That opens up shots for others. Brunson can get into the key at will, and he's really good. Top 10 finisher in the ramp in the key. I want to say. And sometimes he's real confident. He ain't even passing. He ain't even passing it because he get in there. He like, I can hit this shot. But if he does pass it, you want to have, guys that can hit it. But in Mitch's position, as far as the center is concerned, I feel like those guys, even though they were both successful in this crowded, they didn't have a lot of space and they were still successful. If we can get some space for them, I think they would be even better. And with Mitch there and his guy right there in that Duncan's spot, even if Mitch was to go out to the 3-point line, I wouldn't follow him, right? Because I just know he's not gonna hit that shot. So this is not necessarily about who should replace Mitch. This is more about with these three guys I'm going to mention. Do you think they're better fits than Mitch, or no? No, you think that Mitch is a better fit for the Knicks than these three guys. So the three guys that I want to talk about are Towns, Turner, and Ayton. And again, this is not this is about, are we a better team with any of those guys? And obviously we have to take into consideration the defense. But let's go back to Mitchell Robinson. Last season, his last season stats and his career stats. So he played 15. I didn't even know. It's like when I was reading the stats, I got a bit depressed. I thought he played, but he only played. We talking about these other guys. We don't want them
Right.
because they injured. And I'm looking at 59 games, 27 minutes a game, 8.5 points, 9.4 rebounds. Obviously about assists a game, which is an improvement. For Mitch. I actually saw Mitch make some. It didn't happen all the time, but some good passes actually. 67% from the field, 0. He doesn't take 3-pointers. 48.4% from the free throw line, an offensive rating of 142.3, and a defensive rating of 109.5 for a net rating of 32.8. And our usage is, even though it's just 2%. And then on the career, 7.5 points, 8 rebounds, 71% field goal percentage, 52% free throw percentage. And this is the thing with Mitch. Let me see if I have it here. I don't think I have it. His free throw percentage has gotten worse every year in the league, from like 60% to 50 some odd percent to 40.
48.4. You have it here.
Yeah, 48.4. And I think last year was 48.6. So each year he's been in the league, his free throw percentage has gone down. I'm not quite sure, what that's about. But let's take these guys in turn. Let's talk about Towns. And again, we're talking about the center position. We're not talking about the power forward position. Just your overall thoughts on Towns, and are the Knicks a better team with Karl-Anthony Towns at that center spot versus Mitch? So let's start at the top with Jarrell. We'll mix it up.
Queen, you don't have their block per game number here.
Oh, I don't. But I will pull it up. Let me pull it up.
All right. I guess we'll talk about Karl-Anthony Towns first. Talk about Cat. For me, he is soft with 2 T's, but he's very talented. He's one of the most talented bigs in the league.
Mhm.
But he's soft. His playoff resume isn't all that cracked up to be, and he's very, very expensive. I think it'll be a net positive for all 3 of these dudes compared to Mitch, because I think they're more talented than Mitch, especially offensively, but they all give up something defensively. Like if we got Cat, I think it's an upgrade for Mitch. Is he a better fit for the team? Yeah, because he can shoot, but he'd be giving up a lot of stuff that Mitch does on defense. So are you asking, would we rather have him?
No, would the Knicks be a better team with Towns at center over Mitch? All 3 of them, in my opinion, are better players than Mitch. But would the Knicks be a better team?
Yeah, I think they'll be a better team, because I would hope they will actually fit the roster to fit Cat, Turner, and Ayton.
We're going with Towns first.
Okay, with Towns. Okay, definitely Towns, because he's uber talented. But it's just what is he going to be like in the playoffs? We might have another Randle situation, because the last time, there's the last examples that he has had in the playoffs, he hasn't played very well, and he hasn't won anything since he's been in the league. And he was the number 1 pick in the draft, so the talent is there. But would we be a better team? Yes, but it would just take them shaping the roster around him. He's too talented to just throw him in the corner. Like, you have to have stuff available for Cat. Like, he'll be the exact opposite of Mitch.
Yeah, I just want to add the blocking, the blocks like Ajay acts. So last season, he only played 27 games last season, 0.6 blocks. But every other season, it was anywhere from 1.1 to 1.7 blocks a game. And he's another one that hasn't been healthy. Let me just read out his games played over the last 8 seasons. 82, 82, 82, 77, 35, 50, 74, 29. Right. Last season, he shot 36.6% from three on 5.7 attempts per game. That's pretty good volume, actually. And 36.6% is above league average for a center. And career-wise, he's a 39.5% shooter from three on 4.2 attempts per game. And similar to Randle, he's only had 16 career playoff games. So I think that's some of the argument for Randle has been we haven't been a perennial playoff team. We haven't been there year in and year out for guys to get the experience. And that's similar for Cat. 16, about the same. Both of them have 16. Randle might even have less because the Knicks have played 16 since Randle has been here. And I think Randle has missed 1 or 2 games.
Right. He did.
And did he miss any games in the Cleveland series?
Didn't he miss the first one?
I know
he missed the first one in Miami. I forgot, to be honest.
He got injured in the clinching game, I thought, against Cleveland.
Okay.
I don't think
so he played. Okay, so he missed one. So he has 15 playoff games. And as far as the contract is concerned for Robinson, 4 years, $60 million. You know, and it's a descending contract like his free throw percentage. 15 million, 14.3 million.
Queen, you're wrong. You're wrong for this.
Right, you ain't had to finish the
12.9. I have it here for Mitchell Robinson. 60%, 56.8%, 49.1%, 48.6%, 48 point. Like I've never seen anything like it. Anyway. Towns is 5 year, 215 million. So we have 40 million, 43 million, 45.9 million, and then there's a player option for 48.9 million before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Keep in mind though that relative to the cap, it's going to go down. The percentage will go down every year relative to the cap, what his percentages are against the cap. Jeff?
Well, I'm staff and I are like co-presidents of the Mitchell Robinson fan club. So I want to put that out there first, just so that people understand where I'm coming from. But I think Jarrell hit it on the head. He's Karl Anthony Towns is the anti-Robinson. He is one of the most special offensive fives in the game. Probably top 3. I think he's in class with Jokic and Embiid, and he's that good on offense. But as good as he is on offense, if we have him with the team as currently constructed, that is probably one of the worst starting fives defensively I've ever seen. You've got a part-time defender in Randle, a part-time defender. Well, I guess somebody's got to go in the trade. So it depends who we're getting back. But I can see at most one, a starting lineup, probably one really good defender in it, possibly 2 on the wing. But yeah, it's really tough defensively with him out there. I mean, Mitch covers a lot of mistakes. He's not perfect, but I also think that usage matters too. And I think with guys like Brunson and guys like Randle, who already have a lot of usage, and if Barrett is still here, he's a high usage guy too. Do we want to add another?
One of those guys would have to.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way you get money
But
wise.
even so, let's say it's Randle. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying that's the best, but let's just say you still have Barrett, who's a high usage guy. You have RJ, who's a high usage guy, and you have Towns as a high usage guy. So you still have 3 high usage guys. If you make the argument that his outside shooting is better than is better than Randle's, and so he spreads the floor better for Barrett and for Brunson, I'll buy that. Very incredibly gifted offensive player. And I'll say this with all 3 of these guys. Well, 2 of them. I'll save one, but for 2 of these 3 guys, I would like them on our team, and I would like Mitch as the backup to them. Because I think that gives you two different things. I think if you could run Mitch with your second unit, I and play really fast with Josh Hart and Emmanuel Quickly, and Obi Toppin if he's still here, but he would probably go in that trade, I would imagine. But well, not if Randle does. But anyway, again, it depends on what we're paying, but we'd be paying a lot of money for a one-sided player. I mean, you're talking about almost a third of the price for what Mitch gives. For me, in this NBA, if it's not Jokic and it's not Embiid, I don't know that I want to be spending almost a third of my salary cap on a 5. I don't think that's the way of the future in the NBA. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's the game anymore.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point. I do think the Knicks would have to retool defensively if you're gonna bring Townsend as a 5. And I hear people saying he's a 4, he's a 4, he's a 4. He wouldn't play the 4 for the Knicks. He would play the 5, because the reason you would want Cat at the 5 is to stretch the defense. I don't really see the advantage of having him at power forward. I don't see the advantage of having him at power, at power forward. I mean, unless you're saying he's better than Randle, he is, just in terms of from a skill set perspective. But the advantage comes when you put him at the 5, because he brings those centers out. Those centers can't stay underneath the key. That opens up the key for Brunson and Randle or Barrett, whoever is still here. Putting him at the 4, I mean, at team-wise, I guess we would be slightly better. Pairing him with Randle at the 5, we would be much better. But I agree with you. Defensively, we would have to retool. And as far as usage is concerned, the Knicks have 3 guys who right now have usage over 25%. And RJ, Brunson, and Randle. 3 guys with that type of usage. So it would just be a different 3 guys. Boogie, are we a better team with Towns over Mitch? Do the Knicks get to the Eastern? Can the Knicks get to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I'm keeping Mitch. And Lee, I'm gonna leave, that clown right over there in bottom and belly where he's at. I'm not swapping Mitch out for him. And I'm quite sure that he's gonna win us like 4 more games. He's going to have some games where he's going to have 32, 35, 34, and he's going to have great games, and he's going to talk to the announcers after the game is over. But when it get down to that get down, you know what I'm saying, I just don't want no parts of him. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't led nobody nowhere with all that money he's got, you know what I'm saying, and being the number 1 and all that. He hasn't led or took nobody nowhere. And this is what he's got about 8 years in, somewhere around there.
8. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's too late in the game for him. I don't see his game getting no better, no nothing like that. So, I got enough offense on this team right here where I think I could be satisfied, with Mitch, staying in his position, doing what he's doing, and hopefully he can contribute a little something more. But for somebody that's not going to, he's not going to give me an effort and already got, if Julius is still here, I got Julius that he gets in his ways. No, I'm not going to have both of them guys. No, I'm not. That's just not. I'm going to keep Mitch with the Knicks.
Okay, Ajay?
Well, I love Mitch. It's my guy. But I think with Karl Anthony Towns, the team would be better. And I'll tell you why, right? So our concern is defense, right? First of all, I don't think it's a huge drop-off between Cat and Mitch defensively. You're right. The biggest difference is Mitch covers a lot of other people's mistake that Cat doesn't do that. But he's not a terrible defender, Cat. But here's the real reason why I think we'd be better, right? Tom Thibodeau, what's his claim to fame, right? As a coach, he's a defensive-minded head coach, right? So our problem with Tom Thibodeau, he's at least that's what we think is offensively he can't come up with the schemes to make it work, to make it flow better offensively, right? So if we have guys that are already offensive-minded guys, so it makes his offense easier. But he could come up with the defensive schemes to make this work. So he'll figure it out defensively. Offensively, these guys will figure it out on the court. Defensively, Tom Thibodeau is going to figure it out. So I think we'd be better off with a slightly weaker defensive player, but a much better offensive player. I think would be a better team. But I wouldn't want to trade Mitch for him. But if it happens, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, I would like to put our money into another position other than the center position, but just for this particular question, in a heartbeat. And I got to be honest, and I know the tomatoes are coming. I think Mitchell Robinson is overrated. People act like his pick and roll defense is like number one. Like we gotta keep Mitchell Robinson. He covers up so much. We can't live without him. There's other players in the league who can pick and roll defense. And okay, we may not get the rim protection that you get from a Mitchell Robinson, but we're gonna get the defensive rebounds that we need. And maybe we might not get a center who will be on the boards and give us the offensive rebounds. But if you build the team out another way with a traditional offense, do you really need, it's great to have offensive rebounding, but the Knicks depended on offensive rebounders and second chance points as part of their formula to score. We would just need a different offensive formula. I think Mitch is so limited offensively that what he's doing defensively, which I think is it's good, but people are acting like it's like all world. It's just the trade-off is just too much right now, especially the way the NBA is going. You just can't have a one-sided player like that. They just run you off the floor. You just can't play like that. It's particularly in the playoffs. You can get away with it in the regular season, but particularly in the playoffs. Now, in all fairness, if we're talking about the Mitchell Robinson in Cleveland, like that's what if you got somebody that's giving you, 15 points, even if it's on lobs and offensive rebounds, you're getting 15 points a game, you're getting 12 rebounds, you're getting 2 blocks a game, you're getting the activity where guys can't even come in the key. He's not scoring for us, but he's creating havoc defensively. That's just not Mitch. And I just think that we've bought into the narrative. Yes, he's good defensively. Yes, he does cover up for our poor perimeter play. But I think we've bought into the narrative so much that we don't even see when Mitch have bad games. Like we don't even see the games when he's out of position and he's not playing good pick and roll defense. And he's not we don't even see it because the narrative is what he brings on defense makes up for what he doesn't do on offense. And I think it's just to the point where it just doesn't. So if you get somebody that's 3 times better on offense and maybe 30% worse on defense, I think it's a good trade-off. The only reason I wouldn't do it, to Jeff's point, is I don't want to have that much money tied up in a center. I would prefer to have it tied up in a wing. But if money wasn't an issue, yeah, in a heartbeat, I would take Towns over Mitchell Robinson. Because you got to keep in mind, in terms of it making the team better, because you also have to keep in mind that we're not asking Towns to come here and well, maybe we are. Maybe some people are asking him to come in and be the number one guy. It amazes me why certain guys in this league get bad raps and other guys don't. There's only a few players in this league who've won championships. There's only a few players in this league who have carried their teams. But for whatever reason, he has the rap of not doing it in 16 playoff games, mind you. But there's other guys all over the league that we want that don't have that winning. We wanted Bill. What has Bill won? What did Bill do with Washington, even when he was there with John Wall? Nothing. But for whatever reason, some guys get this bad rap of, nah, we don't want him. He ain't really do nothing with his team. But other guys we want who ain't do nothing with their team either. So I don't get it. But like I said, I'm with you guys in the sense of the salary, but I'm not with you in the terms of what has he, what has he done? Because none of these other guys has done anything either.
Can I ask a question that I just don't know the answer to, and maybe y'all do? What is the relationship between Towns and Thibodeau like? Like, do you think that's something he would welcome back, or were they on rocky ground when he was there? I honestly don't know.
I'm with you. What has Lavine won? This is the point I'm trying to make. None of these guys haven't won anything, but for whatever reason, some guys we want, some guys we don't, and we use, they haven't won. None of these guys have won anything. Paul George hasn't won anything. We talk about his two-way play, but nobody wants to remember those game sevens in which him and Kawhi didn't show up. And Doc Rivers got fired after that.
Well, Queen, we don't even have to go outside of what we're talking about, right? Some people say, well, I don't want Towns because he ain't never win nothing. I'll keep Mitch. But what has Mitch won? We don't even have to go look at these other guys. Mitch haven't won anything, And it's just not a fair playing field. Some people get judged harsher than others. It doesn't make sense. I mean, you got to compare them for exactly the same way. You got to bring the same criticism and the same kind of comparison between all of them to get a fair assessment of what it would be to swap those two guys.
I think it just go when it comes to fans and players. I think it just depends on who they like and who they don't. Steph,
right?
It's really that simple. Like if especially when it comes to people that we drafted. Like if Mitch was drafted by the Kings, nobody in the chat would give a damn about Mitchell Robinson. But he's ours though. So, and plus he was a second round pick, so it's like a come up story too. So there's a lot of personal feelings when it comes to Mitchell Robinson. It's not just it's not because of what he just do on the basketball court.
Right.
I don't think.
Right. But let me ask you that question as a follow-up question. Is for those on the panel, and the chat can answer this too. We already know where Margaret Edwards is with it. Does that matter to you, whether a guy was drafted here, traded here, or signed in free agency?
Not one smidgen. No, hell no. I'm a Knicks fan. I don't care if we drafted him, who drafted him, if he was drafted at all. No, I don't care personally.
Whoever gives us the best chance to win, put him out on the floor. I don't care how we got him. I'm with you, Jarrell.
Same thing here, man. The nature of the business. We're here to win. And that's I don't want to leave the Mitchell Robinson talk, so let's stick to him.
No, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that because Mitch is the only player that gets that treatment. A lot of
that's where I didn't want to go because there are other players on the team that get that treatment, but this guys we want to hold on to. Like, come on, man, we've been watching them playing ball all our lives. We know those guys. We can see talent. We could see they're not the one. We could see it, but we want to hold on to those guys because we drafted them. So
yeah, we're always going to overvalue players that we actually drafted. That's just the nature of the sport. Like Knicks fans aren't the only ones who do it. Every fan of the teams that do it.
I mean, remember the conversation used to go on and on and on, the arguments, the fights about Frank Ntilikina.
Right.
Where's Frank now?
Right. Yeah. Same thing with Cam Reddish before he got out of here, remember? And he started with Portland a few games. Then he started coming off the bench, and then he was DNP.
Right.
For Kevin Knox.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me ask y'all this:
Here's another one.
if
This is
Grimes
another
came
one.
back,
Hold on. This is another one. We drafted him and they wanted to play here. If you want to play in New York, you're gonna get a lot of rope. This is the second one.
Right. If you're on the microphone saying that you actually wanted to play here, yeah.
You're gonna get a lot of rope.
Yeah.
Go ahead, boy. Sorry about that.
but that goes along. If I'd have been RJ, I'd have been saying the same thing because I wouldn't have wanted to go to Memphis, Tennessee myself. I'd have been saying the same thing about I want to be here in New York.
Definitely not Cleveland.
Yeah. My thing is this: do you feel the same way about Mitch if Grimes is averaging a solid 14 points per game, 41% from the field and 39% from the trade, and RJ is doing the same thing, but he's averaging 19. But his shots, his 3-point shot, all that is up in the percentages. Do you still feel the same way about Mitch as you do now? Because I understand we need to get, some more productions from the center position. But if them other guys is doing what they supposed to do, I'm all right with everybody ain't got to score. But if I'm not getting the other productions from them other guys, that doesn't mean that I have to go and skip and just go to the center to try to find that makeup production that them guys is not giving me. So them guys.
Go ahead. Sorry, no, finish.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if them guys is, if their productions is all the way up, are we still, talking of this and wondering the same situation?
If you would have asked me that a week ago, I would have said no. Because I would have said, you can have one person in the league that can't, in your starting lineup that can't score.
Right.
But just seeing how Gobert was, like when you're getting deep into the playoffs, Gobert couldn't even play. And he's a better defensive player than Mitch. He couldn't even play. They had to play him. I just feel like the NBA is, you got to be at least a threat.
Right.
You got to be at least a threat to keep the defense honest. Otherwise, they're going to use your guy. In the regular season, you can get away with it. But in the playoffs, when you're seeing a team game in and game out, they are going to plan for that. That guy is going to be able to roam. That guy's going to be able to do a lot of things. So now, and listen, my takes evolve over time. Yeah, I'm starting to think that you got to at least have you got to at least be a threat, particularly in the playoffs. It's just going to make it hard. They can load up. There's so many things that they can do. They did that with Gobert. As I mentioned earlier, if you remember that Utah series, they couldn't even play him. So I'm starting to think, because now I'm thinking about a chip, and it's not just the regular season. It's about going deep into the playoffs. I do think you need to have a center, because even Boston, they got Williams, who's in like a Mitch mode, but they also got Horford.
I'm about to say he plays more than Williams does.
And they also got Horford. So teams they can put Williams in and, whatever. Then when teams try to do what they want to do, they not stuck. Right. They can bring Horford in. And when Horford comes in, he changes everything for them.
See, that's a great point when you bring up him. See, that's the alternate, big that you can switch, that you can swap out depending on your matchup. Like when you say, far as what, if we got that Mitch, like played against Cleveland, that's because that matchup is different. The matchup with Cleveland is totally different with him and Bam. You talking about an athletic dude, that he's not even going, that can grab the ball, rebound, and bring it up, handle the rock and all that. You're going to need to be able to swap that guy out like that. And yeah, I get it far as the big man you just said over there in Minnesota. I do remember when that young boy over there in LA with the Clippers, he dropped 41 on him. They kept putting him in a high pick and roll, but that's because that's not his matchup. Now I do believe we need to have an alternate center, but you're gonna need a big that can get down there and get dirty, you know what I'm saying, at certain times, and and we do know that Mitch he will play against Cleveland. We do know, even though Embiid gonna do what he does, but he does that pretty much it, but he will fight with him. Towns is gonna bow down to him. He gonna break him up.
Actually, Towns plays really well against Embiid. They got some sort of personal.
Yeah, they
all
fought.
the time.
They
They
fight.
would be good,
Yeah,
but
maybe somebody else, not Embiid. He actually goes hard against him.
That was the real fight right there. Remember, they went at it, like choking each other.
But to Boogie's point, that is probably the only person that he is tough against, though.
Right. But let me ask you this, and this is not just for Towns. This is also for Lavine and Turner. Do you feel like these guys are who they are, or do you feel like environment matters? That coming into a new environment where you're being held accountable, there are certain expectations. Can your career change, or do you feel like, nah, just who they are right now, that's just who they're going to be?
That question is that, are we still going to go through these? I know it's getting late. Are we going through them individually, or you just want to group?
Yeah. I'm gonna go real quick.
Because I was going to say that really is a question for Ayton, because I've seen him quit on his team twice.
All right.
So if he come here,
right. What environment make a difference?
Exactly.
All right,
okay.
You gotta, write it down, or maybe your memory might be good enough.
I got you.
All right. Let's go to Turner, and all of these guys. He played actually 62 games last year, 29.4 minutes, 18 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.4 assists, shot 54.8% from the field, 37.3% from the 3-point line, 78.3% from the free throw line, and I think it was 2.3 blocks per game last season. I will double check that. But this is another one with injury history. So let me read out his games played over his career. 60, 81, 65, 74, 62, 47, 42, 62. Last season, he shot 37.3% from the three, like I have here, on 4 attempts per game. Just not a lot. And but 37.3% is above league average for centers. And career-wise, he shoots 35.3% from 3 on about 3 attempts per game. And he's played in 26 playoff games. The last time was 2019, 2020. Would the Knicks be, let me get to his contract as well. He only has a 2-year. So he signed a 2-year, $40.9 million contract. Next year, he'll be making 20.9. And the year after that, 19.9. And then he's an unrestricted free agent. So the same question, are the Knicks a better team with him? A better team, not necessarily him versus Mitch, though that has to be part of the equation, I guess. Are the Knicks a better team? Would they be an Eastern Conference Finals team with him? This would have been a good question for Towns. Would you need to make other changes in the starting lineup, to make it work? Let me just read Paris Duggar. Appreciate you, Paris Duggar. Great hanging out with you last night at the draft party. KP gonna have a hard time with an 82 must-win grind. Yeah, because they trying to do some things over there. No doubt about it. Appreciate you. So Boogie, let's start with you. We're gonna do you, Ajay, Jeff, and Jarrell.
I like Turner. And the only thing with Turner is his health issue. But the thing is, when he's playing on that perimeter, Julius is you getting down in that paint, because when with him is what's his name, Sabonis was together. Sabonis was in that paint, and he still was on that perimeter. But I like him. He's gonna defend. He's gonna defend the glass first thing first. You gotta have to always defend the glass, on our team, because the lackadaisical, what I'm saying, the lack that we lack in defense in front of us. So he defends the glass. He's gonna make you alter shots when he don't block him, and he's gonna rebound. and then on the offensive end, he can't face the rim. And he at times he still can, post up with his back to the basket, and make baskets. I like his situation, but I'm gonna throw him in, I'm gonna throw him in to where it's like you said, you wonder if you could have said the same thing with Town. I still would need another piece, to be in that offense. I would still need a three, a three to go along with him being the center and Julius being at the 4. And then they got chemistry. They got friendship together. They don't worked out together during the off season and everything. And that's important too. As far as you working and get together with guys, who you don't play with, compared to working out with guys who you do play with, So I like Turner in this situation, over Mitch, But if it's any way possible, I can keep Mitch and I could go ahead and get rid of Hartenstein. I'm going to do that because what Turner does is what some of the things that Hartenstein does. So I don't need two of those same guys. I need that other opposite guy, which would be Mitch. I need him to be totally opposite of what Turner does. For simple fact, like in times like we play against Cleveland, now I got two dudes I can match up with them. Not saying that Hartenstein can't do that, but Hartenstein's game is a little bit more closer to Turner's game than what it is to Mitch's game, the way I think about it. So I would like to keep Mitch, and hopefully he'll be cool with being a coming off the bench type player. And I spoke about that the other day. I don't know if he'll be able to do that, but if I could get Mitch coming off the bench behind that guy and, cleaning up that glass and getting that ball out so our bench guys can go ahead and run, I'll be real cool with this situation as far as bringing Turner over here, to the Knicks.
Yeah, the only thing with that is how much minutes is left. Just in terms of salary wise, he's much cheaper than Towns, so you can have money left with Mitch money, maybe to go out and get a 3 and then get you a cheap center behind Turner, because how many minutes is going to be left behind him? That being said, he gets injured too, but so does Mitch. They probably running neck and neck, as far as games, games played per season. Do you think we could get to the Eastern Conference Finals with Turner? Like if Turner was on our team last season, do you think we could have got to? And let's keep in mind, Turner has an all NBA. He was all defensive team. He has at least one all defensive team. And somebody said in the chat he's not a great rebound. Neither is Mitch. Everybody is thinking about the offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. That's what ends a defensive possession, the defensive rebound. And Mitch is not a really good defensive rebounder. So I don't know if there's much difference, there.
This season that just passed, with Turner on this team, we go to be honest with you, I think we go all the way to the championship. If Turner was in that starting lineup, I think, we could have went, because Turner would have done some different things that would have got us over the hump against Miami. A few of them games that we lost was close games. They could have went either way going down late in the game. And one of them games, we just did not rebound. Period, and that game where we gave up, I think it was game 4, we gave up like 7 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter, something like that. I think we knocked Miami off, and I really think we was gonna beat Boston. I really did, because nobody on our team was scared of Boston. Our biggest threat and our biggest problem was Miami.
Yeah, no doubt. And somebody said in the chat, and we may be glossing over them, he is a really good rim protector. Yeah. A really good rim protector.
And let me throw my twist in there. A healthy Turner, and a healthy Paul George is problems. Problems.
Yeah.
For those that don't want PG.
Yeah. I mean, health that's a biggie.
Yeah, because then you have both of them guys, their contracts expire at the reset time with Brunson and Julius. That's the thing.
You
The
could reset.
window.
But I think the same thing with Turner. All of them guys would. Turner too.
Yeah, that's why I said those 4 guys. All 4 of them. Turner, George, Julius, and Brunson. 4 guys. Man, that clears up. Then you can figure out what you can do. We can figure out, how we gonna do it? How we gonna bring it? Can we run it back? Who can take a pay cut? Can we add another person? So many things you can do, man. That's a lot of money to reset.
D Public Enemy. That's what I just said. He's good. That's the one thing he's good at. I'm not talking. Listen, rebounds, and you guys notice there's offensive rebounds and there's defensive rebounds. I'm talking about defensive rebounding.
Man,
that's how you end a defense. That's how your defensive possession ends, with a defensive rebound. He's not a good defensive rebounder. That's all I'm saying. But he's a great elite offensive.
But Mitch is an elite offensive rebounder because that's his primary role on the team. Like, he just sits down there and waits for the rebound. He's not a threat to not even touch the ball for the most part. So it seems like by design, just like when he was hurt, Isaiah Hartenstein became one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. Why? It's because that's the way our offense is designed. Like, he doesn't, when he replaced Mitch, when Mitch got hurt, he pretty much was Mitch's role. He didn't touch the ball. He didn't shoot the ball. His job was the offensive rebound. So I know, like, Mitch is a good offensive rebounder, but that is his primary role on that side of the ball. He's supposed to be a good offensive rebounder.
Right. Organic. Yeah. He did it in Cleveland. Come on. That's not a season. Look at Mitchell Robinson's defensive rebounds throughout. So what? He did it against Cleveland. So now he's a great defensive rebounder because he did it in one series. Come on, guys. Anyway, yeah, who's next? And then maybe we got to move on to Ayton. So you're right. At the time, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go real quick. I mean, that's an easy choice, man. It's a very, you lose very little on defense and you gain a whole lot more on offense. That's very easy. We worried about pick and roll defense. How about executing the pick and roll? All the 3 guys you have up there can execute on offense, can execute pick and roll much better than Mitchell Robinson. Again, I wouldn't lose any sleep if we swap, if we put Miles Turner, in place of Mitchell Robinson. And this past season, if we had Miles Turner, yes, we probably would have beat Miami. I mean, not that Mitchell Robinson is the reason we lost, but we'd have another offensive weapon that we could have used against Miami. So that's easy. Yes, he would. I would do it, and he would have been a better player. He would have made the team better. Easy.
Yeah, he's actually my number one choice because of the rim protection, the defense, and the salary, which gives us that flexibility to still go out and get a 3. If the Knicks can pull that off, I'll take back everything I've said about that office. Jeff, and then we'll move on to Ayton.
Well, I'll be pretty quick, but you've been saying that name. I've been hearing Miles Turner for about 3 years now. Miles Turner's name has always come up, in some form or fashion. But what I'm thinking, and this may not be a good thought, so I'm not surprising coming from me, but if you could do a deal with Indiana that sent Obi Toppin and Isaiah Hartenstein and maybe a protected first rounder for Turner, and I don't know if they would do that deal or not. I'm just using that as an example. And start Turner, and you have Turner and Mitch. That gives Thibodeau 48 minutes of rim protection that he likes. He has 2 different looks that he can give with a guy that can stretch the floor. I really like what Miles Turner can bring to the game and bring to this team. I think he's super valuable. I think that the only thing is you hope that they don't get hurt at the same time, I guess. But I love the idea of a Miles Mitch combo in actuality, and I don't see why it couldn't work that way.
I just think it's a money. It's just a money issue. That's $35 million. I just think you can use that money. I just think you can put that money toward a wing and just get a center that's going to play spot minutes and be a spot starter as well, because he may get injured.
You could, absolutely you could. I don't have any problem with that either. I don't know. I don't know if Indiana would want Mitchell Robinson. That's the only thing. What they do, I mean, we're all here saying, Mitch. So rather Miles. So you're gonna probably have to throw something else in there if you're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna want to do Miles for Mitch straight up either.
Yeah, but the thing about it is Mitch is on a longer contract and he's on a descending contract, and they'll save money, but they're going to have the same issues offensively with Mitch. Sherwin, this is what I believe. Turner is not a good defense. He made an all defensive team. Did Mitchell Robinson ever make an all defensive team? And even if he's not, he can play defense. You put him in the right environment. You let him know what you need him to do. He should be able to play whatever defense Tibbs want him to play. What was Booker doing before Monty Williams got there? You put these guys in the right environment, I think he would flourish defensively for us.
And one other thing I'd like to say about Mitch, and I think his defensive rebounding has improved.
It has.
And I also think when you play beside an excellent rebounder like Julius Randle is, that deflates your defensive rebounding numbers. Because Randle is an outstanding rebounder, especially on the defensive end. And so I think when those two pair together, and especially Mitch is really good at blocking out, and then Randle goes and gets the ball, which he's amazing at. I think that has a little bit of context there too, but I don't think that changes my opinion of the discussion. I just think that he's an improving rebounder, and I think he's not as good an offensive defense as he is offense, but I think he's a solid defensive rebounder. Not spectacular, but solid.
Right, but again, it's not even about Turner and Mitch in isolation. It's about the Knicks as a team. And I just think if you got Turner at your center position, blocking the rim, he can play pick and roll defense. If he's having some issues, Tibbs will straighten him out as long as he's a willing defender. He has the tools, and he can hit the three. He can stretch the defense. If the Knicks can make that happen, I think that would, out of all three, he would be my number one guy. And I'm not sure if the Knicks would need to make changes around the perimeter like you would need to do with Towns.
I agree.
I would like to have better perimeter defenders anyway. But even if you don't, you got to need 2.3 blocks per game. Can somebody check that? I believe it was 2.3 blocks per game. 2.3 blocks per game.
Correct.
And can shoot the three. I mean, come on.
2.8 the year before that, and 3.4, which led the league the year before that.
An elite rim protector.
27 years old.
And 27 years old. And taller than I thought. I don't know why I thought he was like 6'9", 6'10". They say he's 6'11". When I was reading it, it said 6'11".
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
He would actually be very good for us.
Yes.
Now that I'm thinking about it, he'd be very good for us.
Yep. And 78% from the free throw line.
Very good.
He's a terrific player.
He's
two-way
like
player. We need them.
And a two-way player on a and the Knicks would have to re-sign him, but again, they get to make those decisions. Depending on how well they play, they may decide they're gonna keep Turner and whatever and move on from. I mean, we don't know, but if the Knicks can do that, that would be great. Anyway, let's do Ayton real quick. 67 games last. I mean, games at a premium. 67 games last year. 30 minutes, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 1.7 assists, shot 58.9% from the field, 29.2% from the three-point line. I guess, I don't know. Is that enough to keep, somebody honest?
He's not a three-point shooter.
Oh, okay. And 76% from the free throw line. Jeff, we'll start with you. Are the Knicks? I know everybody. The conversation shrinks down to Ayton versus Mitch, but are the Knicks a better team with Ayton man in that center position? Will we get the space we need? Because this is really, when somebody said it in the chat, it's not about Mitch, it's about spacing. Will we get the spacing we need with Ayton? And would we have gone to the Eastern Conference Finals with him?
I'm not an Ayton fan. I don't like his motor. The rebounding numbers are good. I don't know if I'd like to see the percentages, the rebound rates compared with the other guys. But I'm not a huge Ayton fan. I feel like I think Jarrell said it earlier. I feel like he quit on his team a couple of seasons now. I'm not. I don't know. There's just something about Ayton that kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I can't necessarily put my finger on it. But again, I don't want to be paying $30 million for my starter at center when you can get just as good a production for Turner for $10 million less. I mean, that to me makes a lot more sense from your roster building perspective. And I think this is a wing league. I think you need to. I don't think Ayton is the type of player you win around. I mean, he's got all kinds of talent around him in Phoenix the last 2 years, and they didn't go very far. So I think that's a knock against him. Do you need a player of his offensive skill set in the modern NBA? I mean, yes, it's better than Mitch's. I grant that every day of the week. But I don't know. I don't know that Ayton is the right fit next to the players that we have. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm not set in stone. Maybe you can change my mind. But something about Ayton to the Knicks just doesn't. At that, I don't want to pay $30 million for a center who's 18-10 guy. I just don't.
Okay, I'm just saying. But Turner and Mitch would have cost you about that too at the center position.
That's a lot more minutes, and that's both. I mean, in other words, you're talking about Ayton plus a backup. I mean, and if your backup is Hartenstein, that's $40 million of your center position,
right?
Instead of 35. So he's still more expensive.
Yeah, but you can argue I'm not. I wouldn't want Ayton too, but I mean, when people say he quit on his team, this is we don't want to give second chances to nobody but the Knicks. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't really know what the situation was, but even if he did, I hope he's more mature now. Maybe there was something going on between the relationship with him and, Monty Williams, and I don't know, he just wasn't able to move past it. So I get it. You there for your team, and you're supposed to always be there for your team. And I mean, I get it, but guys make mistakes, hopefully they grow up, and they get better. We gave Randle a second chance. Some of us.
I'm about to say, not everybody gave him.
We gave Randle a second.
No, we didn't.
Some people still want him gone.
Right. So I mean, I'm not holding it against them. Like I said, I just want that type of money tied up in a wing, more so than a center. But anyway, Ajay, then Boogie and Jarrell.
Ayton, again.
Oh, somebody wants to know the salary. Sorry. 4 years, 133 million, basically. 32.4 this upcoming season, then 34, then 35.5. Then he's unrestricted.
Yeah, he's getting paid just about twice. It's the same logic. You don't lose too much on defense, but you gain a whole lot on offense. All three guys are net positives compared to Mitchell Robinson. More of a net positive than Mitchell Robinson. again, I wouldn't actively look to make this trade, but if it happens, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. DeAndre Ayton, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's that mid range, he's got it. I mean, he's really good in that little mid range, and that mid range is very important when, especially when you run and pick and roll, because 90% of the time, the guy sets the pick. Or you one step and you within his range, and more often than not, he hit that little. I don't know what his percentage is, but he's very good at that. So, yeah, you don't lose too much on defense, but you gain a whole lot more on offense. I mean, he scores 18 points a game compared to Mitchell Robinson's 8 point per game. So, I think we would have been better, with DeAndre Ayton in place of Mitchell Robinson. Make this very quick.
And I don't think we would need to defensively. It would be great if we can get some better defensive wings. What was his blocks? Let me look up his blocks.
He's not terrible on defense. And I think, like you said, a different situation. He's quit on his team. I think a lot of times these guys don't play defense because they're just not in the right place. But if he's in a place where he wants to be, where he's engaged, I think they put the effort. And we'd probably have a better defensive output from him.
It's about a block a game, Steph.
About a block a game. Okay.
What is Mitch? 1.2.
About a block and a half.
Oh, 1.5. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Any? I forgot the order I said.
Yeah, I think it's on me. I don't think he adjusted and understood what his role became once they got rid of all the defensive players on that Phoenix team and what they needed him to become. I don't think he understood it, and he wasn't willing to do it. And that caused a little bit of friction about how he was feeling amongst the team, where he was giving up on guys or whatever. He feeling they getting beat and all that stuff. But, whatever's whatever. But I'm gonna stick with the old school rules. And the old school rules used to say, people in the West, they can't play in the East because they can't take the physical pounding. They need to stay out West. Him and Towns, they need to stay out West. He'd probably look good with somebody like Golden State, somewhere like that. But over here, putting him in this big media right there, and I don't think this would be a place for him to rejuvenate his career that he thinks he needs to rejuvenate, and then he's going to give us more offense. Of course, he's going to do that. All three of them guys is going to do that, But is he going to be able to handle New York City? When things ain't going right for him? Are you going to break down? You break down in Phoenix, you know what you're going to do here. And we're going to let you have it. I don't think that's one thing about Julius. We let Julius have it. He had it. But the thing about Julius, he keeps coming back and he fights. That's what you got to respect about him, that he will face what we throw at him. I don't think this guy has it. This guy Aiden, I don't think he has it. He's gonna be another guy I'm gonna turn down, and hopefully I can do something else besides getting that money he got and clogging me all the way up, whereas I can't do other things, and he's not gonna get me there. He could have got me over Miami, but I don't think he would have been able to get us through Boston.
But what do we need him to do? Like, he wouldn't have been our main cog. Like, he wouldn't have been a number 2.
When you're making money like that, I'm looking for you to dominate. You're making too much money for you not to be a dominant player. You're making too much money not to be a factor to take us somewhere where we're trying to get and we haven't been there in a long time. Him and Towns is making too much money for us to come here, for them to come here and not dominate the situation. Off top, off rip, they supposed to, them guys really supposed to be, them guys are supposed to be battling. As far as bigs, they supposed to be right there behind maybe Davis. You know what I'm saying? That you got the Joker, Embiid, maybe Davis. Them guys are supposed to be right there. But you got Sabonis better than them guys because he give them that heart and that effort. You know what I mean? So, you know, you getting paid all that money. I need you to be able to take me somewhere. I'm not paying you all that money, and you can't get me over the hump. That's for somebody that's gonna, you know, at least I'm gonna feel good about him coming here and give me a chance to fight. I don't know what these guys are gonna do, or when they're gonna give up, when they're not gonna show up. I just don't.
Right. I mean, I think that's a fair point. You know, just in terms of the collective bargaining agreement, you know, it's going to really limit, you know, what you're able to do. And if that guy is making that money and they can't give you that production, you can't really go out and get it anywhere else without, you know, going over the, you know, hitting the second apron. However, if you're going to get 8 and you're going to send out salary now. So it may not be, you know, if you sending out RJ Barrett is making what, 25, 20, you know, you might just be talking about another $4 or $5, you know, $1 million a year between RJ Barrett's contract and 8 per year. No, I don't. Let me see.
RJ and Obi would work, I think, probably.
Right. Let me just see something really quick because I think it goes. Nah, I don't think. No. At some point, you're gonna be talking about 10 million.
Even if you use
about 8, yeah.
If you use RJ and somebody else, now what you gonna do? You're
Right.
gonna bring quickly and bring them to the 2, and keep Grimes at the 3. What are we gonna do?
That's nasty.
That's that. I mean, that's. I could figure out a lot of things to do with that Aiden money. Whole lot of stuff.
Right.
I can go get JaVale McGee
No.
for $2. That's no cost.
Nah. That ain't even close now. All right. I mean, I think, you know, that's what it is. We'll see what the front office does in terms of reshaping this team around Brunson and you know, and Randle. You know, they may not. I don't even want to say, but yeah, we'll see what they'll.
Let me add something real quick. I actually think Miles Turner is a better fit, especially when it comes to money. DeAndre Ayton is very, very talented. But for what we need, if we do want a stretch 5 and that's the goal, then he ain't it, because he's not a 3-point shooter. He's a very good mid-range shooter. He can score on the block too. So like the talent is there, but if the question is who's the best fit out of the 3, it's not him.
Right.
That's all. But he's very talented. Like we'll be a better team with him. But yeah, he's not. He wouldn't be a better fit than Miles Turner, especially with that salary. I agree with Jay Boog. Like I'm not paying a center averaging 18 points, $35 million. Like that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah.
And 9 rebounds.
And 9 rebounds, 9 to 10 rebounds, and can't shoot the 3. Nah. Oh, for one thing though, if we did get him, we got to fire Othello Harrington. How about that? How about that? If we did get him, how about bring Patrick Ewing in? You know what I mean? DeAndre Ayton is Jamaican himself, #1 pick in the draft, so they got some parallels to him. I'm pretty sure they met. Get rid of Othello Harrington if we get DeAndre Ayton. How about that?
Yeah, right.
We set him up for success. Let's just say
Because
that.
we ain't put nothing on the bench.
Nothing.
We need something over there on that bench, man. And I'm glad you reminding that, you know what I'm saying, our bench is naked. You know,
Right.
you know, you see, like I said, our guys, you gotta be more than just, you know what I'm saying, a celebrity, you know what I'm saying, in the building and we calling your name and you standing up waving and everything. Yo, only one that I can give that nod to, you know what I'm saying, is John. That's the only one, because John is in the building. He's rooting. He's always commentating. He's doing things. He's there. But these other guys, I don't need y'all just showing up, man, when the team is hot. I need y'all. We working with them guys, man. Larry, you can get over there. You can go over there and talk to, you know what I'm saying, Julius. Get his mind right. Let him know what it is. You know what I'm saying? These guys get, you know, like I said, Marcus Camby, get over there and talk to Mitch, man. We got guys that can rock with these guys. And don't just be in our building, go on the road. That's what you like about Miami. They on the road.
Right. That was a playoff. That was the playoffs game, though.
It got so crazy. It got so crazy. It got so crazy. Ron Harper was in the building with us. You know, of course, you know, Legion got mad at me. You know, I dapped him up and I took a photo with him, but he's a legend, you know what I'm saying? I can't miss out on opportunities. But Ron Harper was in the building with us, you know what I'm saying? When we played Cleveland. That's what I'm talking about, your guys going on the road. Being there. None of them guys went to Miami.
But then we don't even know about how the Knicks organization operates. Maybe Miami give them a seat on the plane and say y'all can rock with us. You know, I mean, we don't know how the Knicks operate.
That plane that big enough.
It is big enough, but do the Knicks operate that way? Like certain organizations operate. That's what I'm saying.
I get you. You're right, Queen. I get it.
You know, or you got to pay your own fare, and you know what I mean, to get there. I don't know. Just real quick, what do we think about Obi's brother? I haven't done my research on Obi's brother.
I think I don't know. The Knicks specialize in relationship rosters. Like we always getting somebody that's related. Like we got J.R. Smith's brother that time. Even the kid with that we got.
RJ, remember RJ, the Canadian his teammate on the Canadian team?
Yeah,
Brad Zickis.
Yeah. And just like Jeff, what was the what's Martin's name again?
Jalen Martin.
Jalen Martin, thank you. Even he has a connection. Like he played high school ball with Charlie Ward, like under Charlie Ward, like in Florida. So there's always a connection involved when it comes to the Knicks. Like I don't know, like almost every year they have at least one or two moves that just shows you like this is a family business, quote unquote. So I think the topping move was simply because Obi is probably frustrated. He probably want to get out of here, and this is just probably to entice him to stay here.
Entice? You getting paid to stay here? We don't have to draft your brother oh man.
That's how stuff like that works sometimes, man. Remember when we signed Giannis's brother?
Yeah.
Same thing. It's the same exact thing. We get these little brothers, and hopefully their big brothers can stay or come to the team. But it ain't gonna work. But Jacob Toppin, it's not like he a bum. He has a little bit of skill with him, just like Obi does. He's just not as talented as Obi is.
That kid should have transferred and went somewhere and got some more college work. I know how it worked. They got a top-notch recruiting class. They pushed him out the door. Yo, listen, these thoroughbreds coming here. What you gonna do? He panicked. He said, "I'm going in the draft." For what? For what? You know, I seen him play. I seen him play this year. You know, I'm not nowhere near entertained about his game or anything. And then for us to be dealing with the situation what we dealing with his brother, then you just to turn around and go back and grab him. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You're just trying to build a little roster for summer league so everybody could be out there and we could talk and have some mingles and some drinks and conversations with somebody. See if somebody sign off on some dumb paperwork and let us get a good trade or something. I get it. But, man, this guy right here, man, I could get in shape. I need to get in shape. I need to get in shape. I'm serious. God almighty.
He might have had an extra year because of COVID, but he started off 4 years ago at University of Rhode Island, and then he transferred to Kentucky, and he played 3 seasons at Kentucky. So he was in college for 4 years. I don't know. He may have. I don't know what his eligibility status was. I don't know if he had another year or not. But he was a 4-year college player. He didn't get a ton of minutes in year 2 and year 3 under Calipari, but he played. I think he started 31 of 33 games last year, and it's like 12 points, 6 boards a game. Nothing that's gonna jump out at you, but he's a good athlete. He's he's not as good as his brother, I don't think, but I think he'll put up some stats in the G League and he can dunk.
Does he have a position though?
He can dunk.
That's the thing with Obi. He may not. A 3 or 4. Does he have a position? Is he like a 3 or 4?
Tweener.
He's
a
6'9".
He's tweener. He can play both.
Yeah.
Does he have a handle? Can he defend? Or he got the same hip lateral quickness issue?
Now, I actually think he's a little looser than Obi when it comes to that. I don't think he's as talented as Obi though. If that makes sense. I really actually like Obi's game. He just might not fit our roster.
He's not getting that ball on the wing and clearing out, taking you off the dribble 3.
Yeah, right. He ain't doing that.
He's not doing none of that. And then he's light. So, when he's in the paint, you know how we always talk about, man, Obi, we want to see you dunk on somebody instead of that, the transition dunk. He's the same way. He's too thin and too light to be banging it on somebody, and
But when somebody goes undrafted, they role players anyway.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
they're not stars. These are guys that's gonna come in off your. But these are hustle guys. Defenders. Get deflections, energy guys. He's undrafted. I mean, so you're not really looking for a starter. If he can go from being undrafted to a starter, that would be amazing. Basically, he's a role player. So what I want to know is, can he defend the position? Could he, could he be a stopper? Like what role could he, would he play? But yeah, if he's undrafted, I'm not expecting, much. Just like what, McBride was drafted. Okay,
Right.
so he was drafted.
Yeah,
He's
don't
not the
expect
defender that McBride is. I know that.
Yeah, don't expect him to do much.
Sometimes I'll be trying to, give guys and some people the benefit of the doubt, but then when Queen put that pressure on you, you got man telling you what you want. So
Is he good or not? I'm saying, is he good or is he trash? Like
Captain said it right. He told you how many years he's been in college. I hope he got his degree. If he didn't get that, is a problem.
Right. He's a relationship roster move to me. That was the only reason we got him.
All right, we wasn't saying that when we drafted Miami's undrafted guys. Yeah. Yeah. It took them some time to get there. And listen, Miami played them out of necessity. If it was up to Miami, they wouldn't be playing them either.
Right.
And right now, they looking to upgrade.
And I don't think Gabe Vincent is related to anybody else on the roster.
That's true.
Right.
He's Bam's cousin. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That would make sense.
I don't know much about Jalen Martin. Does anyone know anything about Jalen Martin?
I know he played high school, Tallahassee, Florida. He played under Charlie Ward. Other than that, I don't really know that much about him.
Right.
Is he related? Is he related to the Martin twins?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
He didn't go to college. He played at that overtime elite.
Right.
And I think he was like 14 points a game. He's 6'6".
Another 6'1".
It's hard to tell what those stats would translate into. I really don't know. I mean, that developmental league down in Atlanta is so new. I don't really know what to make of it. So I can't really. Like I said, he's got decent size for a shooting guard, and that's 6'6", and I think that's what he's supposed to be. I don't remember his percentages. I apologize for that. I'm getting old.
Hey, I got a question. So what happened to Gene Montero, the guy, the undrafted kid from last year? Everybody's like, "Oh, we found that diamond in the rough. We found a gem."
Remember, even though we did get him, he had a contract overseas anyway, though, just like Rokabitis.
Diamond in the rough. Oh my God. The Nick,
Yeah.
the Don did it again.
Yeah, he playing overseas.
Hey, how many years? For you to be in the NBA for them not to allow you to play in the summer league no more?
I want to say it's 2, and there's a special situation where you could do it 3 years. I want to say, but I could be wrong about that.
Really, I thought it was older players in the summer league and the G League.
After year 4, Kevin Knox wanted to play.
I
Is
think
it
it
4
depends
years?
on your
Okay.
NBA experience.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I
I could be wrong about that, but I was kind of with Queen. I thought, like, if you're a guy who hasn't been making NBA rosters or on the cut line and stuff like that, I think you can go as many times as you want because you're trying to win a spot. But for guys who are established contract guys, I think it's 3 years.
Okay.
But maybe it's just that they don't usually go at that point because they're established. It may be they're allowed, but they just don't do.
Players that were actually drafted.
So Sims has an established contract, so he can't play, right? But does that mean that Deuce can play?
I don't know.
I think even if you have a contract, you can play, but it's just it's something about how many years you've played.
Right. I don't know the rules.
I think Deuce could play. I don't think Deuce will play.
Yeah, because I don't want him to play. I don't think he should be out there. Let him stay going in the G League and kill. Because because our team gonna look like some nothing, and we go out there playing against. I don't want him to get shell shocked out there.
But that may be his opportunity. Remember Grimes when he played in summer league last year? He just had full reign to kind of like be the number one guy on the team and just be in a different role. McBride needs a little. Maybe they could experiment. Like, we want you to run the team, not be out there, having somebody else playing the point and you playing off the ball. We want to see if you could play the point guard and run the team. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well,
so we did it quickly 2 years ago, also, wasn't it? In summer league, didn't we give him the keys and say
I think
your point guard 2 years ago? And then we did it last year with Grimes. Or am I?
Right.
That's not right. That sounds right.
So maybe it's Deuce's turn.
He wanted to play in the 4th year, but got injured. So maybe.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for
Grimes was hurt his first year though, right? He didn't play his first summer league, right?
Grimes, you might be. I'm not sure.
I think he only played one summer league. That was last year, I think.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. I think that's right though, J Boogie.
Don't remember.
And then I don't even know. I don't know who's going to be on the roster. And we haven't heard anything else about Kai Soto either, right? He's supposed to have a mini camp with the Knicks.
No, Kai Soto not signed, but he's playing in the summer league with someone else.
With someone else. Okay.
I want to say the Magic, but I could be wrong. But it's not us.
Okay. Here go the Knicks acting like, to Ajay's point, acting like, we don't need to bring talent in and just watch them and just see what happens.
Nah, we good. We're in a good spot.
Well, Trevor Keels is 6'8" now, so.
Who? Trevor got him.
Keels grew 4 inches.
Did he really?
That's what I read.
I got
I saw something that Grimes had grew 3-4 inches.
Everybody who played for the Knicks grow about 6 inches. Yo, that's crazy. He grew 4 inches over the summer, and he like 19.
Well, he's 19. You can still grow.
He's still young.
Yeah, you can still grow at 19.
In 3 weeks.
Like, we just saw him sitting on the bench in the playoffs. Like, he looked 6'8".
Right. He might.
He should have played.
around the waist though, because he was looking up.
He looking real defensive end-ish over there at the end of the bench, man.
He was looking like a little linebacker.
Right?
That's
That's what I'm saying. Because if he that big and 6'8", he should have played.
Yes, teams are calling for Deuce McBride, and they were saying that if the Knicks were to trade back into the draft, it wouldn't have been for Obi Toppin, it would have been for Deuce McBride. Teams were calling, calling about him. Yeah,
9-man rotation. He's the odd man out unless we make a consolidation trade. Where does the minutes come from for him? You know.
Yeah, I don't see McBride as being ready. Those who have the Athletic, I think, was it Cats? Somebody had wrote an article just in terms of how he's viewed around the league, that just offensively he's so limited, and that was the other thing. You just can't be one-sided in today's NBA. You just can't, unless he's just coming in for spot minutes, for defensive spot minutes. He can do that. But if he ever wants his role to expand, he's going to have to show in the NBA what we saw at West Virginia and what we've seen in the G League.
Right.
I want to see Isaiah. I need to see
who?
Isaiah Roby.
Yeah, I need to see him.
I've seen him with. I mean, he's good.
He was pretty much our draft pick this year.
Right.
And he can probably play 12 minutes behind Randle. I mean,
you got Obi out of here already.
Well, I mean, that's the report. No. I'm just saying.
Be careful, now. Easy. Be careful.
Personally, I think he would get Obi the business.
He would get Obi the business.
I think he'd give him the business.
Yeah, he can play.
I don't see him play, but I just want to see him on the floor. I want to know what's his situation when I'm saying I want to see him. But that guy got a nice game.
He does. I like him.
Yeah. What's his name again?
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Okay.
Like, I was really shocked that OKC let him go.
Right.
I think he played for the Spurs, then he went to OKC and they let him go. But with all the young talent that they got on their roster, they probably, that's why they let him go.
He's 6'8". He's probably a little undersized for the power forward though, but he's athletic though.
Yeah.
He makes up for it.
Right.
He's a little bit thicker than Obi too.
Right.
He's
plays
thick,
bigger.
and he's athletic. He can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot. He hustles. He does a lot of the little things.
And that's all you need behind Randle. Like Randle playing 36 minutes, I mean, you need an energy guy.
That might be the reason why they looking to get rid of Obi.
Yeah, he did have a good game against us before, a couple years ago, I think.
He said he could shoot the three. Beginning of the season would show the direction. He could shoot the three.
Let me see.
And I don't think he could play. I think he's been in the league long enough. I don't think he would be in the summer league, right?
Oh, no, he's not going to summer league.
Yeah.
Now he's like 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, he go down there, average 30.
Yeah, he's not doing that.
He averaged 30 in that last year.
Yeah, once. But then he
give me the ball, Grimes. Let me touch it.
Is this the right one? Oh, that's 8. I'm like, no.
You thought he was putting up 8 numbers.
Well, I was looking. I was still on there.
They definitely do not look like that. He's like a role. He hasn't played that much, but he's been in the league like 4 years. Yeah,
no, I was on the wrong page. I still had his stuff up.
Right. He did okay with OKC, but then he went to I didn't think they were gonna let him go, but then he got picked up by the Spurs, played last year with the Spurs, and then the Spurs let him go. That's what it was.
Yeah. So he's been in the league for 4 seasons.
Right.
And
why would the Spurs let him go? They need young talent on cheap contracts all over the place. If he can play, why wouldn't they keep him?
To get the number 1 pick in the draft.
Well, look.
I don't know.
How many wins Roby gonna give him with his 5?
Right. That is true. I have no idea why they got rid of him because he's a talented kid. Like he played the 4, he can play the 3, the 4, and the 5. Like He's
Wow.
athletic, so not at a consistent basis, all three, but he in spot minutes he can give you all three positions.
Now, and they have him listed as a power forward actually. And in OKC, now this is OKC. Last season, the season before last, in 21 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 0.8 steals. So that's almost a steal a game, 0.8 blocks, almost a block a game.
Right.
And he shot 44% from the 3-point line, but he only took 2 attempts a game. So he doesn't take a lot of attempts. And last year with San Antonio, he didn't get a lot of burn. He only played 11 minutes a game.
Right. He wasn't playing.
4 minutes, 2.5 rebounds.
11 minutes.
I think Obi paid more. He made a little more than that, no?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. And he is signed though. I think we signed him to a contract though, right?
Yes.
He's actually signed to a
Is he guaranteed for this year though? I thought he was a non-guarantee, and that my understanding was we picked up Roby because we could guarantee his contract if we needed it as salary filler in a trade. That was my understanding for why Roby was brought in. That could be completely off base.
Let me check because I thought it was guaranteed. That's the reason why I was thinking of him as our draft pick because I think he's going to be on the roster next season. But let me look it up real quick. Hold on.
I don't see. I'm trying to Google. Sherwin. Sherwin is the aficionado when it comes to height, and he said that he is now 6'8".
He is now. Jeff was right. Real quick, his salary last year was guaranteed at $400,000. This year coming up is 2.1 mil, but it's non-guaranteed.
Okay.
But we guaranteed it. We paid him $400,000 pretty much to not play basketball last year.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, yeah, he's probably going to be on the roster. Why would they do that?
Right.
Unless they need that 2.1 million.
Right.
Unless they need it in a trade. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna say good morning to y'all.
Yeah, we out of here too.
Yeah, it's quarter after.
Yeah. Any last words?
Yeah, man, I'm pissed off at Adji. He ain't telling him to hit the like button and no nothing, man.
You get out of my face.
And you know what? That's true. I meant to mention we had 170 people in the chat, and the likes was
low because of IJ.
No, the likes were good.
Oh, so that's why you ain't say that. See,
they weren't terrible. They were,
Yeah. Well, we got 107. Nah. We got 168, and we got 85 likes. Come on now.
AJ.
Hit them likes on the way out the building.
On the way out, yeah.
It definitely helps the channel. Hit them likes. I think at one point we had 199 people in the chat.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I thought we had like the low hunt, like 120. Last I checked, it was like 122.
Nah, we had like 190 something. Get them likes up. Let's see if we at 90. Can we get it to 100 before we get off?
We got 166 watching. 164 watching now. The 2 dropped off just because I said something.
Yo, shout out to Almighty. Shout out. Listen, shout out to Almighty Finn and say he's disappointed. But Almighty Finn, listen, if I'm not saying it, y'all in the chat, y'all need to keep reminding people, man. Hit that like button, man.
We need one more. We got 99. We need one more like.
Just give us one more like, man.
One more like.
We know it's Friday. We know y'all swerving. Swerve on that like button, though.
But I wanted to say, I'm gonna do a segment for those as it's gonna be. I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but it's basically meet the chat. There's some people in the chat. Listen, that I want to talk to. They went down to 98, then back up to 100. Maybe somebody hit the wrong button. There's some people I want to talk to. Real nice, chill show. I'm not coming after you, but I would love to do a show, and it could just be a half an hour. And if you're not comfortable doing it on video, we can do it on audio podcast, or we don't even have to do it live. He put the
You should call it weekly chatter.
Yeah, that would be good. He put a picture of him in the he lost weight. You know, listen, when you lose weight, you do look thinner. He lost a lot of weight. He put the link in the chat for those who want to see the current picture of Trevor Keels. He lost a lot of weight. So I would love to interview Sherwin. I know he's not a big Obi Toppin fan. He's kind of bought in a little bit on Quick. I would like to talk to him. I would like to talk to JJ about Grimes and RJ, Kerry Cox, Paris Duggar.
Set up the phone lines.
Paris needs his own interview.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like Dateline.
Right. Right. These would be like half hour. Just half hour.
Paris, where do you be getting these $2, man? What's happening? Like, I want to ask Paris the hard questions.
Right. Just in a 20 instead of all the 2. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's so beautiful when you get a chance to meet people that you rock with, you speak with, on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? That's in the chat. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about them, the people that's in the chat, they got a little plus over you. You know, when you finally meet them, they know who you are first. And when they greet you and be like, I'm such and such, man, it's just such a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
You know, because I met a lot of them like that, and because they don't come up on the panels and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know who they are until they say who they are.
Right.
But man, it's so many beautiful, wonderful people outside of just the basketball life that, you know what I'm saying, that's in the chats that you rock with every day on a daily basis, you know what I'm saying? Because we all meet up somewhere, no matter what show it is, man.
Right.
But when you meet them people at live in public and everything, it's even that more enjoyable, man. So, I was extra happy when you said you met PD.
Yeah, I met Paris Duggar. Yeah.
And he knew who you was. You didn't know who he was, did you?
And then when he said Paris Duggar, but I was on the show, I was like, wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
NYPD.
Yeah, real soon, Kerry Cox. I would love to, and whoever else. It doesn't have to be those that mega, Pudge Nice. I know he changed his name.
Knicks
Corey
is nice.
Lee,
Mega
giving
NYK.
me the business about RJ Barrett and Shotgunner and Quickly, and Nick Yak and Mitchell Robinson. And basically, I'm just cramming to understand where y'all coming from. That's all, because I don't get it.
You want all the hive heads. You want all the hive heads on
I'm right, because I don't get it. Anyway, we out of here. I appreciate y'all. Jarrell, Jeff, Boogie, Ajay, Stafford Don, who said he was, his he just DM'd me that we saw it. I think in a situation like that, I'm gonna make an exception and just have him come in audio, audio only, because he down there with the aluminum foil on the
the rabbit ears.
And Jarrell, man, if you know of a league, man, any of y'all know of a league, fantasy league, let me know. Both of mine is full, but I love playing fantasy. Let me know.
Okay. I'll let you know.
And reach out. I'll play. I don't care whatever it costs, if it's free, whatever, I play. That's what I love to do, and this is that time, man.
Gotcha.
Yep. Until next time, family. I'll let you know when I'm starting. If you guys who have my email, just email out. Anyway, I'll put it out. I'll do a post. All right.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine.